You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day. What a wild Tuesday we had in the sports world. My goodness. We had 3 or 4 things happen in which you'd have thought there wasn't a chance of any of the 4 things happening. Wow. We'll get to it. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
Bam. Bam. Damn, Bam. 83 last night? Are you kidding me? I don't care if it's against the Washington Wizards. 83, man.
I don't care if it's against the Washington Generals. I don't care if it's against the University of Washington. I don't care if it's against Washington and Jefferson, a D3 school. What the heck? Not only that, his career high was 41. How do you play 8 years in the league or whatever it is and go from 41 to 83? By the way, he shot 43 free throws.
43, yes, he did.
What the heck? Seriously, what was going on, Washington? 43 free throws? My goodness. What'd you have to foul Bam Adebayo that many times for? It's Bam Adebayo. Wow. All right. If yesterday the sports gods had let us know, hey, tonight, full slate of games. Take a look who's playing. Somebody scoring 83. I mean, who are we guessing? I mean, the Spurs were in action. The Celtics were in action.
Right. I might have gone Jaylen Brown. The Pistons played against Brooklyn. I might have gone Cade Cunningham.
Right. Yep.
Luka, maybe the Lakers were playing last night.
Sure. Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's just a few, Ant maybe. You're tough to say when the Lakers play the T-Wolves that someone would go off for 80 because you usually have to play a bad team. But I guess what you're trying to ask is, would Bam Adebayo been on the list? And the answer is no, he would not have.
In fact, I would have guessed if it was a Miami Heat that it might have been Tyler Hero because he's been playing really well lately.
But yeah, I might have gone Maxey from the 76ers. They were playing Memphis last night, who seems to have basically quit on the year. But Bam Adebayo, 83, only Wilt has scored more in a game. Kobe no longer has the second most points in a game in NBA history. It's Bam Adebayo.
As Bam said after the game, Wilt, Bam, Kobe.
Good for him. Good for him. And good for the Heat. Because it was at home, too. So the crowd that showed up got to see something special. Good for them. Good for him. Good for the Heat. Good for the fans that were in the building last night.
83.
Right.
But he scored 36 of them at the free throw line. It's the most free throws ever attempted and ever made in a game before. I mean, when Wilt scored 100, he shot 32 free throws. And the big thing was he made 28 of them, a career 51% free throw shooter. And he shot 87, 88% for the game from the line. Wow. 83 points. Man, oh man. I mean, I want to give him 100% credit for this, but how the hell did Bam Adebayo score 83 points when he had never scored more than 41?
He had his career high by halftime. He had 32, I believe, in the first quarter. He had 62 through 3, I believe.
Man. It's a lot of free throws. That's a lot of free throws. I didn't see a second of it. I'd love to go back and take a look. I mean, did the officials get in on it? Were they just like, they put him on the line, or was Washington really that horrid?
Well, they are that horrid, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo this. I've got to be honest, David, you're poo-pooing it a little bit this morning.
I am, and I feel badly.
The guy scored 83. Let's give him his due here, for crying out loud.
It's amazing. I'm speechless. And not only that, it was Bam Adebayo. It wasn't Kevin Durant. It wasn't James Harden. It wasn't Steph going off.
Only 7 threes for what it's worth. He was 7 of 22 from outside the arc.
Right. He was 20 of 43 from the field. I mean, it took a lot of shots, but he didn't make a high percentage of them. He shot around his season average from the field.
Right. The guy was hot. They kept giving him the ball. It was his game. Go get him. You scored 32 in the first quarter. You know what you do as an offense? You get that guy the ball.
Totally. And then, when you got the game wrapped up, it's kind of like, well, let's just see how many we can get them. But my goodness, Washington, I mean, did you have to foul him every time he touched the ball? He shot as many free throws as he did field goals. Bam Adebayo scored 83.
So good for him, good for the Heat. Like I said, great for the fans that showed up. It was a home game. That makes it even better to me that he did it at home, because the Heat are, come on, I don't care what anybody says. That's Miami's team. Yeah. I know everybody, and I know you want to think it's the Dolphins. It's the Heat. The people in that town, it's Heat first.
Yeah.
And it has been for a decade, at least.
Oh, maybe 20 years. Yeah. Once Dwayne Wade showed up, the Heat have owned that town.
Very much so. The city's changed immensely in the last, 30 years, and basketball's king in that town. The Heat are the team.
And I mean, he's a lifelong Heat. He had just the game before became only the second Miami Heat to ever score more than 10,000 points in a Heat uniform. Obviously, if LeBron had stayed longer, if Bosh had stayed healthy longer, they would have made the list. But he's the second all-time leading Miami Heat scorer. I mean, Mark, the all-time point performance in Miami Heat history entering last night was LeBron with 61.
He took care of that in 3 quarters.
Right. Bam Adebayo. Wow.
What a night. What a night. Good for him. I'm happy. I like it. I'm not poo-pooing this one bit. I don't care how many times he went to the line. I don't care how many shots he took. 83. Give it its due.
I mean, did you reach out to our buddy Felipe? I mean,
no, because I went to bed before the game was over. I was distraught. I was upset. I'm as upset about sports as I've been in a long time.
Oh.
But that's a personal thing for me. I'm not letting it affect greatness that happened last night.
Okay.
Not letting it affect the other things that went on last night. But for me personally, I watched my team blank the bed again, and they're probably going to choke away a playoff spot because of it.
Yeah, let's not think that.
No, it's done. It's over. I'm just telling you right now. I feel like a Dolphin fan, okay? I feel like a flippin' Dolphin fan right now.
Uh-oh.
I Miami Dolphin fan, I feel your pain. I've never felt your pain. I've never cared.
Uh-oh.
I've never cared when teams fall apart.
Oh, boy.
But Jet fan, I get it. Dolphin fan, I get it.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
But there are better things to talk about than my team. We have things that happened last night. We had a choke job of epic proportions last night. For all of you that give a damn about the World Baseball Classic, you know who doesn't? Team USA.
Oh, stop it.
We lost to Italy in baseball, David. It wasn't a skiing event, okay? It wasn't a soccer match, okay? It was baseball. That's supposed to be our sport. We lost to Italy. We were down 8 spit to Italy
we were.
In baseball.
Yes, we were.
If we were down 8-0 to Italy in soccer, I'd go, holy crap, that's something. In baseball, cut everybody, go get minor league players. They can give more of an effort that was given last night. You know what Japan doesn't do when they play inferior opponents? They don't lose. They played Czechia yesterday. You know what they did? They won 9 spit.
It was.
You know what they've done to everybody in this tournament? They've beaten the hell out of them. You know what we did yesterday? We, the big bad United States of America, we lost to Italy in baseball. Let that sink in. What's more of a surprise this morning? Bam Adebayo scoring 83 or Team USA losing a flipping baseball game to the Italians?
Bam Adebayo 83.
Yeah, I painfully disagree.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a poll question.
Bam Adebayo is at least an upper echelon player in the league. Is he a star? I don't know, but he's a really good player. We knew that. We've known that for a while. Team Italy beating the USA. Again, I'm going to repeat this for you, David. I didn't say soccer. I didn't say skiing. Right. I didn't say speed skating. What I said was they lost to the Italians in baseball. Starting 25 minutes away.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
At the Diamond District, we have that one-of-a-kind ring that she's been dreaming of.
Whether you're beginning to think about proposing or already have something in mind, we're here to help.
Our sales team listens, educates, and guides you to the perfect engagement ring so you don't have to feel intimidated.
We guarantee that whatever you're looking for, you'll find it here.
So when it's time to pop the big question, come visit us, Jason and Todd, at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
This This is Miller and Moulton.
Give up a goal with 1:30 left and then one with 14 seconds left to lose. Holy shit, are they done like dinner? Well, where, Johnny Mac? Here in Tampa? I mean, there's a lot of restaurants that I really like, Johnny Mac. What kind of restaurant? Affordable, really nice. I mean, because in Southwest Florida, Harold's is my favorite restaurant, and it's not close. Yeah, I know. I want Mexico to win 5-4.
I thought it was 6.
They have to score 6. Yeah, if it's 5, it's no. The Wings suck, Paula. They are the softest team I have ever seen. I've never seen. I watched that entire game. They are soft as baby poo. By the way, that's by beating Great Britain, Brazil, and now the USA. I mean, don't act like they beat the Yankees, Red Sox, and Dodgers, Joe. Lightning are skidding, Empire. They're in a funk, man. They're in a funk. But don't worry, Detroit comes to town tomorrow. They'll beat Detroit. Then Detroit's going to lose to Dallas after that. This is it. They're done. Yzerman needs to be fired. I mean, Brazil and Great Britain, Joe. Come on now. They shouldn't be 3-0 because they beat the USA. It's a joke. They played the 2 worst teams in the pool, and then they played Team USA. Correct. If Mexico wins and scores 5 runs or less, the USA's out.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
I have the poll question up, David.
I'm seeing conflicting things. I'm seeing that if Mexico scores 5 or more, we're in. I also saw where they need to score 6 or more.
Yeah, what I read was 6 this morning. Oh, 5. Sorry, I've got 5 here.
Okay.
If Mexico wins and scores 6 or more runs, the USA and Mexico will advance. If the Americans will be out of the tournament if the Mexicans win and score fewer than 5. So if fewer than 5, they score 6 or more or fewer than 5. That kind of doesn't make sense, but yeah, he did. And you're right. And I mean, if you look at it, they lost to a prospect team. The best we have lost to a prospect team.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Bam! We're just going to say that throughout the show today. Going to break, coming back from break, in the middle of a conversation. When we're talking with Seth Everett midway through the interview, we're just going to stop and go, bam! Unreal. 83 points in an NBA game. Wow. His career high was 41. I mean, he had been playing really well. He had like 6 or 7 consecutive games of 20 points or more. I mean, he hadn't scored 30 in any of those games, but he had 6 or 7, the last couple of weeks. Bam's been playing really well. He's been scoring. But I mean, Mark, he averages 16 points a game for his career, and it's a very good career. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's a very good player.
Right. Yeah, he is. I mean, I don't know if you'd call him a star, but he's a very good NBA player.
Yeah. But wow. That's remarkable. And that may not have been the most remarkable thing that happened yesterday in the sports world. Because as Mark alluded to before we went to break, down goes USA. Down goes USA. You don't think Fox is sweating out the Italy-Mexico baseball game tonight, do you?
Oh, they're sweating it out. They're sweating it out because now I guess if Mexico wins but scores less than 5 runs, the USA is done.
We're out. Right.
If they score more than 6 runs, we advance with Mexico because there'll be a 3-way tie for the group. If they score 5 runs and win, apparently it goes to another tiebreaker. Is that what I'm getting here?
Well, the tiebreaker is also convoluted. It's like runs to outs. It's a mess. It's not.
I mean, what is this? The ACC?
It's more complicated than that. Okay.
Does it matter what the committee votes in rankings to see if
who
goes advances or no?
No, but I think if Mexico wins and scores 5 runs, Duke plays Virginia in the next round of the WBC. That's what I think happens.
Sounds good to me. But the first big story that we had yesterday in the sports world was long before the USA lost to Italy, and long before Bam Adebayo scored 83 points.
83 points!
All of a sudden, I think it was early evening, I get a text from David.
Uh-huh.
And it was a post from Adam Schefter on X.
Right.
That said the Max Crosby trade has been nixed by Baltimore.
Yep. And the Raiders have no more comment. Excuse me. Hello? Is this on? Hello? Listen, I hesitated before sending you that text. I triple checked that thinking I'm getting punked here.
So you did more than some of the sports networks do before they report things on air these days.
Yes.
You got a couple of sources.
I looked around. I said, okay, first off, is this the Adam Schefter? I wanted to make sure it was spelled properly because there's one out there in which his last name is spelled differently.
You can't trust the check mark anymore because you can buy a check mark.
Correct. All right. So that now I will say the Raiders letterhead, was okay. But you know what? That can be fake too. So no, I needed more than just Schefter. I need at least one more source here. Dan Patrick and his 2 sources. Yeah, I needed more than Schefter because I didn't know if it was the real Schefter. Because this is a doozy of a story. Now, there have been 6 other trades or signings in the last 20 years that were negated because of a failed physical. but never one with this good a player in it and this many assets involved in it. This is the most high profile, failed physical deal gone that the NFL's had this century. So, yeah, I don't know about you, Mark. My first question was, Raiders just spent $194 million.
But they don't spend it technically until tomorrow at 4 or whatever they can pull out of some of these deals the same way that this deal was nixed.
Well, right. It's today at 4. Okay. So they don't have a lot of time. But my first thought was, can they afford Crosby back on the roster, or have they spent the money? Now, it turns out they actually have just under $38 million left under the cap after all the wheeling and dealing that they did. So Crosby's $30 million cap hit, they can absorb it, but now the Raiders have $8 million. And that's basically your draft picks. So the Raiders are done wheeling and dealing unless they want to unload some people. Now, here's the bigger question. Can you steal Max Crosby now if you're fill in the blank?
Right.
If you're
Dallas
Detroit,
was apparently close.
Right. Dallas.
I didn't hear Detroit even going after him. But
I
Dallas,
understand.
But what did Dallas do since not getting Crosby? They spent a bunch of money to bring in defensive players.
They did. No, I know. I mean, that's the problem. This deal went down Friday night. Do you know how many deals and how much money have been spent because Max Crosby was in Baltimore? And I guess we're out of the Crosby sweepstakes. But now let me tell you, seriously, if you're the Raiders, I mean, first off, if he really is on your team this year, that'll be awkward. But everybody's a professional. They'll get through it. But obviously, the Raiders still want to get rid of him. So now, if you're the Raiders, tell me what you'd accept. Because first off, I have to believe he'll pass a physical in April or May. That this is still recovering from the surgery and the injury. There was more than one team doctor, though, that apparently nixed the deal. The Cowboys team doctor is highly thought of. He was brought in. This wasn't just the Ravens going, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. Apparently there were other team doctors that were consulted, and they said they were nervous too. But I'm wondering,
what's he worth now?
Right. What can you get Max Crosby for now?
Is a first and a second make it a done deal? Does a first and a third make it a done deal?
Does just a first make it a done deal? That's now what I'm wondering. And now, David, if you're Detroit or Tampa or somebody who really needs an edge rusher, okay, because you can say to the Raiders, well, 4 days ago, I had the $30 million in cap room. This is a problem now. Okay, so you're asking me to plus he just failed the physical.
Well, there you go. Now, ESPN spoke with Crosby's knee surgeon. He gave his reason. He didn't bash the Ravens doctors. He said, I get it. But Crosby's moving along at the pace we expected him to with his rehab for this.
Oh, you tell me, Tom Brady, Mark Davis. Is it now to the point like I got to get rid of him? Okay, best first-round pick offer we get, just get rid of him.
Because the point you made earlier, yeah, Crosby's a pro, but it's going to be awkward. And now some things are out there that have been said that have to be repaired.
Right.
Miller and Moulton, the starting five is next.
The fun is happening now at the Southwest Florida Ag Expo. Bring the whole family. Thrilling midway rides, delicious fair food, good old-fashioned Florida fun. Experience agriculture up close. Meet the farm animals. Celebrate a community's roots. Live entertainment, family activities all day long. All under one roof at the Mike Greenwell Regional Park, formerly the Lee County Civic Center. Get details and daily schedules at swflagexpo.com. That's swflagexpo.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
It's on Tubi.
I
That's
know.
funny.
I know. See, this is where I don't understand. The other two games going on tonight are on FS1 and FS2.
Well, yeah, it's Canada, Cuba, and the Dominican and Venezuela. I mean, they weren't expecting this game to mean anything.
I know, but now that it does, if you're Fox, can't you jump in?
I don't know if you can get, I mean, this is where tickets have been sold. Game times are in.
Tubi.
Or not to be.
I don't even know. I don't even know how to get Tubi.
It's an app.
Well, I'm assuming that, but
I mean, if you have a smart TV, it's probably right there.
it's
Just like your Netflix, and
I'll have to check.
I mean, I know I have it right on mine with the Fire
Okay.
Stick. It's right there. In fact, I think Tubi is where I watch soap, David.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know Tubi. I don't know if soap's on Tubi or Pluto. It's on one of them.
Like the old TV show soap?
Correct.
Wow.
One of the greatest shows
heard
ever.
about
in our
that in a
opinion.
while.
One of the greatest shows ever, in our opinion, Raj.
I just
An
haven't heard
amazing
about
cast.
it in so long.
That's because you haven't produced for us. We don't go 6 months without it coming up at least once.
No way.
Billy Crystal was dating the quarterback from the Jets.
Right. Essentially, he was dating Joe Namath.
Right. I mean, they were making no bones about it.
And the guy who was playing the quarterback was a U.S. Olympic medalist pole vaulter, Bob Seagren.
Wow.
When Billy Crystal would flirt with Bert, good God.
When Bert spent the year
Thinking he was an invisible?
invisible.
Well, and when Bert was an alien and just wanted to screw the whole thing. And she was so happy that her husband wanted to have sex.
Diana Canova was pounding the town priest. Right. This is the 70s. We got a gay main character who's dating the quarterback of the Jets, and the young hottie daughter is sleeping with the priest.
By the way, I will say the first part of John Oliver, before he gets into his big story, and that's when I fall asleep. He started, or the end of it rather, because I woke back up. I got about a 15-minute nap. He's talking about soap operas and how great they are. And I didn't realize this. Are you aware that Stephen A. Smith has been a recurring character called Brick on General Hospital for like the last 5 to 7 years?
No.
So David, I'll see if you need to go to YouTube and just look up John Oliver soap operas.
I will.
Because he overacts. It's spectacular. And it's, basically they got to it because someone said, who is that? I recognize him. And one of the writers who doesn't watch sports went, that's Brick. Didn't know that it was Stephen A. Smith. And the sports people don't watch General Hospital.
Right.
So it was a really good segment. But they show Marlena turning into the demon. I mean,
yes. Right. When Marlena became the devil.
Yes.
That's when they lost me.
Again, he still can be funny. It's just kind of like Kimmel. It's like they've taken all their energy to be so political. It's like, I don't care.
Right. Please.
Just make me laugh for 30 minutes. You want to point out some stuff? Great.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. We are Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Man, a lot went on in the sports world yesterday, and it seemed like it was going to be a lazy Tuesday. But we'll get right to it. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through BST. And the B today stands for BAM!
Oh, I thought it was Bots Sports Trades.
Every B has to stand for BAM today.
Bam shoots throws.
That's true. BSFT. Bam shoots free throws. Because I think he's still shooting a couple. We'll start with Bam. Bam Adebayo is a very good player. He's had a really, really solid 8-year NBA career, averaging 16 points and 9 rebounds a game, a 3-time All-Star. He's the second all-time leading scorer in Heat history. His career high heading into last night's game against Washington was 41. He had been on a bit of a roll, however. He had 7 straight 20-point scoring outings. He hadn't scored 30 in any of those games, but he had 7 straight games in which he had scored 20 or more points. Yeah, he scored, 31 in the first quarter? Like 42.
I thought it was 32, but
32. Okay.
Yeah, but right there, yeah.
Yeah. So wow. Okay. Wow. He's hot. He's got 40 plus at the half. Oh, damn. What did he have? 61 after 3. He had tied LeBron's all-time Heat single game scoring record, and then they just said, "Well, let's get it to the big fella." Bam Adebayo ended up with 83 points. Only Wilt Chamberlain in February of 62 in Hershey, Pennsylvania, has scored more points in an NBA game than Bam Adebayo. He shot the most free throws in a game in NBA history, 43. He made the most free throws in an NBA game in league history with 36. He made 20 shots from the field, 7 of them threes. 83 points in the Heat's 150-129 win over Washington. So now 3 games in NBA history in which someone has scored 80 or more points. Wilt with 100, Bam with 83, Kobe with 81. Other NBA scores. Sixers, who are in the play-in because the Heat and Magic have gotten hot, or at least really warm. Sixers beat Memphis by 10, 139-129. Maxi's going to miss 3 more games with that finger injury, however. Yeah, the Pistons had lost 4 in a row. You knew Brooklyn was going to get the brunt of it. Detroit went into Brooklyn, beat the Nets 138-100. A nasty game in San Antonio. In fact, I'd sign up for these two in the finals right now because they played twice this year and both games were nasty. Spurs beat the Celtics 125-116. Jaylen Brown got ejected. This Wembanyama guy at 39 and 11.
The ejection was a touch ridiculous. It really was. Brown gets pushed out of bounds. They don't call a foul. They give the ball to San Antonio. He's not happy with it. So they tee him up, and the ref, Brown says a couple more things, and he tees him up twice. He did not. I watched that a couple of times, David. I'm sorry. That's where a ref's got to be able to bite his whistle and not call that second tee. There's no one there to see you, sir. There's no one there. You screwed up, and because you screwed up, you amplified it by calling 2 technicals on a superstar. Ridiculous.
LeBron missed his 3rd straight game, and the Lakers won again, beat Minnesota 120-106. Hawks have won 7 in a row. They're challenging to avoid the play-in. They beat Dallas 124-112. And all the playoff teams in the East are 500 or above because Charlotte beat Portland 103-101. They're the 10 seed, and they're 500. All right, college hoops. We had 5 conference titles won last night.
One that didn't matter.
Gonzaga won the West Coast Conference again on their way out of the conference. They beat Santa Clara 79-68. Is Santa Clara in after their upset of St. Mary's in the semis? A lot of people believe they now are. Hofstra won the Colonial Athletic Conference, beating Monmouth 75-69. LIU was already in the tournament because they played Mercyhurst last night in the Northeast Conference title game, and Mercyhurst is ineligible to play in the tournament, but LIU made it official and beat them anyway, 79-70. Wright State won the Horizon. They edged Detroit Mercy 66-63.
What a block at the end of the game by Wright State. Player from Mercy drove the lane. Wright State made a great defensive play to win that, to seal the win, if you will.
And the next coach at Syracuse, Jerry McNamara, led Siena to the MAAC championship. They beat Merrimack 64-54. Yeah, if you're Syracuse, how do you not hire him? Seriously. Siena was a grease fire 2 years ago. He takes them to the tournament. Their NIL budget's $83. Okay? I mean, seriously. It's Jerry McNamara. He was the star at Syracuse. How do they not hire him? Okay, bubble teams. Stanford lost to Pitt. Bye-bye. See ya. You gone. Cincinnati stays alive. They beat Utah in the Big 12 championship tournament, 73-66. SMU stays alive. They beat Syracuse by 17. Both Cincy and SMU need to win at least one more game, though. Cincy may need to win 2 more. Vatech, bye-bye. Losing to Wake Forest in overtime, 95-89. So Stanford and Vatech are gone. Done. Bye-bye. So long. Farewell. FIU season came to an end. They lost to Missouri State 75-72 in the Conference USA tournament. A lot of rumors the FIU coach getting fired. And they finished losing 3 of their last 4, and that didn't help. World Baseball Classic. Team USA played unbeaten Italy and lost. In fact, they were getting drubbed. It was 8-0 in the 6th. USA rallied to make it 8-6, had Aaron Judge at the plate as the tying run in the 9th, but Italy held on. And that means the United States could be out. If Mexico and Italy play tonight, if Italy wins, the U.S. is in, period. Italy wins, the U.S. is in. If Mexico wins, first off, then Mexico advances, but it depends by how many runs Mexico scores.
Good thing the U.S. coach thought they were already through pool play and took about 5 starters, normal starters, and gave them a rest for the game against Italy. After the game, he had to admit what an idiot he was.
Yep. That's Mark DeRosa, by the way.
Yeah.
Mark DeRosa.
He should be deported.
Going to be tough for Mark DeRosa to criticize any other manager on the MLB network for the next few years. NHL. Are we now officially worried about the Lightning?
They're skidding. They're not playing well. I mean, they're going to obviously make the playoffs, but this is not good right now. They are losing to all the good teams, David. Good news for them, Detroit comes to town tomorrow.
Lightning have lost 6 of 7. They got beat at home by Columbus 5-2. Blue Jackets, by the way, just 2 points behind the Bruins, who beat the Kings in overtime 2-1. Boston holding down the second wild card. What a crushing loss for the Wings, who are in the playoffs, but not by much. They're like a point away from being a wild card team, and they're like 3 points away from being home. And Detroit had a 3-2 lead with under 2 minutes to play last night, and not only gave up the tying goal, they gave up the winning goal in regulation. They came away with the game in Florida with 0, zilch, nada.
Soft.
Panthers 4-3, and, it doesn't mean anything for the Panthers. In fact, you could argue that it's a mistake for the Panthers. The Panthers should lose out, make sure they finish with a top 10 draft pick, because then they get to keep the pick.
Bobrovsky didn't start. Marchand probably out for the season. Bennett didn't play. Unbelievable. Embarrassing.
Meanwhile, the Sabres have won 8 in a row. They double up San Jose 6-3. They lead the Lightning by 4 points in the division. Carolina in a shootout edged the Penguins 5-4. Hurricanes have the most points in the Eastern Conference. Montreal, 3-1 win over Toronto. They're just 2 points behind the Lightning. So that if those two played in the playoffs, Montreal would have home ice. I mean, Tampa's got to get it together. That 19-1-1 stretch seems like forever ago. And that's because most of it was before the Olympics, so it really was forever ago. Islanders keep on winning. 4-3 in overtime over St. Louis. They're 3 points ahead of the Blue Jackets. Big win for Edmonton in regulation in Colorado. They beat the Avs 4-3. By the way, the Avs lead in their divisions down to 5 points. I don't know if Dallas can catch them, but they are within 5. Nashville doubles up Seattle 4-2. Kraken now tied with the Kings for the final wild card spot, and the Preds are just a point out of the playoffs. Remember when they were the worst team in the league the first 6 weeks of the season? They've rallied. Anaheim is in first. They lead by 3 points in the division. They beat Winnipeg 4-1. Dallas 2-1 over Vegas, who's fallen back to third place in their division. And the Wild beat the Mammoth 5-0. Both are comfortably in the playoffs for now. NFL. You know, we thought the big news for the Raiders was going to be that they traded Geno Smith to the Jets, where Geno's career got started 13 years ago. Yeah, that's a side note because the Ravens have canceled the Max Crosby trade, claiming Crosby failed the physical. Actually, they didn't claim it. Diana Rossini and a few others reported it. So Max Crosby, as of now, is back with the Raiders. The Raiders, despite all the money they've spent, do have enough money to carry Crosby on the roster. They'd only have about $7.9 million after that, which would basically cover their draft. But they can, as of 4 o'clock today, absorb Max Crosby being on the roster. Other NFL news. Patriots signed Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs, 4 for $80. Commanders signed Chiefs linebacker Leo Chenal, 3 for $24 and change, just 8.25 a year. He's a good, solid player. That's a nice deal for Washington. That's the 4th defensive free agent the Commanders, whose defense last year was horrible, have signed. Steelers extend Cam Hayward because, Mark, if it's an old, expensive defensive player, you just got to keep giving him years, don't you, if you're the Steelers? He's got 2 more years at $16 per. Cam's 37 years old. Thought he started to slow down last year. Eagles signed cornerback Rick Moulton from the Seahawks. 1 year, $15 million. So Seattle continues to lose in free agency. And a 4th Raven has joined John Harbaugh with the Giants, fullback Patrick Ricard. He signed a 2-year deal.
You got a fullback, you got a Scattaboo. I mean,
yep.
David, don't know how good they're going to be, but they've got some guys that are going to make them fun to watch.
Yep. They're going to play some smash mouth football. That's for sure. And at 7 minutes before the hour, oh, by the way, today's the big golf presser where we find out the future of the PGA Tour going forward. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was Starting 5 big stories you needed to know, brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through BST, Business, Sports, and Tourism. Although for today and today only, anything with a B stands for BAM!
Do you have a sleep problem but don't want to wear a CPAP mask? This is Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. The mask wasn't working for me, and I didn't think I had an alternative. I do. We all do. They have such simple alternatives with greater success than the mask. Visit sleeptreatmentdirect.com. That's sleeptreatmentdirect.com. And if you are like me and your CPAP machine isn't working for you, it's time for a change. Call 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The fun is happening now at the Southwest Florida Ag Expo. Bring the whole family. Thrilling midway rides, delicious fair food, good old-fashioned Florida fun. Experience agriculture up close. Meet the farm animals. Celebrate a community's roots. Live entertainment, family activities all day long. All under one roof at the Mike Greenwell Regional Park, formerly the Lee County Civic Center. Get details and daily schedules at swflagexpo.com. That's swflagexpo.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
They've not signed anybody. I know you're just teasing them, Stobuck, but we talked about it yesterday. Denver's one of the teams that has not signed a free agent. Not one. They re-signed some of their players, but they have not signed anyone. I don't know that they need a tie. You know, Ingram didn't have a good year, but I like Ingram. He's a good tight end. I think that's okay. But I am, hope for your sake they draft a running back, Ambien, because they need one. I don't know what they have for picks. I don't have it in front of me. But obviously they pick very late. I don't think they have any extra picks, at least in the first 2 rounds. So yeah, 30, 62, 94, 130. So yeah, they don't have any extra picks. They don't have any compensatory picks. They just have their picks. And they don't have their 6th round pick for what it's worth. I saw a thing, Pius, on I don't know about health, but basically what hot sauces you should and shouldn't eat based on what's in them. I was very happy because the 3 that I probably use most were all listed as good ones. Cholula, Louisiana hot sauce, and Frank's Red Hot. Like no preservatives. Well, Patriots were leaders in free agent signings too, Stovup. They signed, but they didn't go out and spend remember, we're just starting this. The Patriots did all of their free agent signing late and got a bunch of guys that I don't want to say nobody else wanted, but they didn't go after the marquee guys. They went after guys that their coaching staff knew and trusted. And that's how they built the defense. Hey, look, if you think there's a better team in that division than Denver, let me know who you. No, I don't. It was just something stupid I saw on social, Pius. It might have even been on TikTok, for crying out loud. But it had, a lot of the Buffalo ones were the ones that they said are just terrible for you, which makes a lot of sense because you got to put a lot of crap in that, and all you need is butter and Frank's Red Hot and a couple other hot sauces, and you got a great buffalo dip. But no, Chipotle, anything with like a lime, DC, I'm not supposed to eat. Like guacamole that's sitting there, I can't eat. But if I make my own guacamole, I'm good. I do know I can't have a steak for next to ever. I asked yesterday. I can't cook. I'm not supposed to cook. I can't play golf until like August. I'm going to when I get out of here, I'm still going to pick my nose for 3 months, for crying out loud. I've not asked yet, Deadstroke. I see the doctor in a couple of weeks. I'm just seeing PAs right now. When I see the doctor next, I am going to ask him about going to my daughter's state meet.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. It's nice that we're getting over it together. Appreciate that. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question, pretty straightforward. All three of them, a wow, though. I mean, it's a poll question which I almost want you to let it marinate a little bit. Don't answer it quickly, because all three answers in and of themselves are wow. And they all happened within hours of each other. So what was the most remarkable thing that happened yesterday? Bam Adebayo scored 83 points in an NBA game. Holy blank, the Ravens nixed the Max Crosby trade 4+ days after they consummated it. Oh, yeah, and Italy beat the USA in baseball and may have knocked us out of the World Baseball Classic. I voted Bam.
I voted baseball. It was close between that and Bam. And right now, that's where the votes are. Bam getting 60% of the vote. Italy beating USA in the World Baseball Classic, getting 35% of the vote. And one guy voted for the Crosby trade in early voting.
Do you think you could steal Max Crosby right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm Detroit, I'm calling them today. So I'll give you my first. And you know what? Just to make sure I get him, I'll give you a fourth. It's like, I don't want to lose this. I don't want someone else with the better first taking him.
So you're going to give up, what is that, 17th, 18th overall?
Yes, 17th.
Okay. So you're going to give up a 1 and a 4. Give me Max Crosby.
I just want to make sure. Let's pick 118's the 4th round pick, because I think someone else might offer a first. Is Dallas going to offer 12? I don't think so, but they might.
Would Tampa
offer 15?
Right. So you're wanting to make sure, hey, I don't want to totally insult you here. And I want to make sure that if people are just offering up a first round pick, that, that we're offering you a little something extra.
But yeah, I think you can steal him. I do. Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Man.
And like we said, I don't, I think Max could be there by the time they're a playoff team. But he's starting to enter the TJ Watt part of his career when they do, if you know what I mean.
Now, Max right now, I believe, is 28. And, he's still a premier player. I will say this does make the Raiders look a little better. Remember, Max made a big stink at the end of last year because the Raiders were like, listen, dude, we're out of it. You're hurt. We're going to hold you out of the last 2 games. And that apparently led to the breakdown in the relationship. Well, obviously, Max Crosby was hurt. I mean, they had to have surgery, and it's surgery that 2 months later, he can't pass a physical from. Now, it should be noted, there have been many trades that have gone down when at the time of the physical, the guy can't pass it. But the team asks the doctors in a month or 2, will he be okay? Yeah, he's just today, you're consummating the deal today. He can't pass the physical today, but in 60 days, sure. He's recovering nicely, blah, blah, blah. He'll be fine. Okay. And they let the deal go through. Now, what's interesting about this is obviously Baltimore backed away from the deal. I mean, that's the Ravens saying, we don't think Max Crosby is going to be okay down the road. We don't think he's going to be Max Crosby. That was never a variable in the whole Max Crosby saga. It wasn't even considered major surgery. It was considered more of like a cleanup. But Mark, there's two. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There's two aspects to this. First off, the Ravens have done nothing, Mark. You know why? Because they traded for Max Crosby and they had to account for $30 million on their books. Well, now guess what? They're a day and a half into free agency and they haven't signed anybody, and now they got $30 million extra to spend. And who do they have to spend it on?
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Couple of questions that have been asked. One that I think is a really good one. So does this help or hurt Trey Hendrickson's stock? I think it definitely helps it. I think it definitely helps it. How can it not help it?
Well, because Crosby's still available. Isn't that another person he's competing with?
I understand, but there's no questions about his knee.
True.
He's healthy. He's been healthy for the last 3 years. So I think it helps it. But it's funny. Some other things on the text line, you know, there's Bears fans that they want to get Max. And a Steelers fan who said, you talked about the Steelers in the starting five, David, and their front office and what they did. He said, such a great breakdown of the Steelers front office and their OCD. Cam discussed last year playing possibilities all off season long. Going to be a long year. Might be good to watch Miami tank in 2026 instead of watching the Steelers in slow motion. Have a good day, guys.
So if you're the Raiders, can you regroup? And can you wait 6 weeks and trade them right before the draft? Problem is, who's going to have the cap room to fit them in? That's why I think if you're the Raiders, you have to accept less now and unload him. Either that or he's a Raider for 2026.
Here's a question for you. You know, the Ravens are the overwhelming favorites to win that division. They're a minus number. They're minus 125 to win the North. Cincinnati is the next bet at plus 225. After what's happened in the last 24 hours, it's not great odds, but do you take the plus money on the Bengals to win the division? I wouldn't, for what it's worth. If it were 5-1 or better, I'd think about it. But at basically 2.25 to 1, I don't think the value's there.
So the whispers were yesterday that Jacksonville was getting in the Trey Hendrickson sweepstakes. He's got a place in Ponte Vedra. All right. He's kind of indicated, all things being equal, he wouldn't mind playing in Florida. Dolphins are out, obviously. They have $8 they can spend. So it comes down to the Bucs and or the Jags. Now I'm wondering if you're Baltimore. Do you just call Trey Hendrickson and go, well, we were going to spend the money on Max Crosby. You want it?
And if you're Trey Hendrickson, I mean, I think what you brought, let's just look at the 3 teams that are being talked about, or the 2 teams, the Jags and the Bucs in Florida, are being mentioned often and have been. Hendrickson had been linked with the Bucs now for a couple of weeks. The Jags are in. He's a Florida guy. Okay. If you're Hendrickson, and I said, Bucs, Jags, Ravens, where do you think your best shot is to play for a Super Bowl? Now, I mean, Lamar's not won a big game in January. We all know that. But you're picking, and there's not a quarterback in the group that I would probably, I like Baker more than Trevor. Trevor has more skill. There's something about Trevor I don't trust. I'm sorry. He's got another year to prove it to me. Where's your best shot to win first up, let's just get in. when you rank those teams most likely go to the playoffs, wouldn't you say Baltimore?
Of course you would.
And then I don't know if I would go Jacksonville or Tampa. I don't.
But obviously, if he wants to live in Florida, I mean, we all choose to live where we want to live. We take a job based on certain things. I mean, don't know if it's any different in the NFL. He's played in the Super Bowl. He just didn't win it with the Bengals. But, I mean, don't you think the natural move, if you're the Ravens, is to call up Trey Hendrickson and go, well, instead of Max Crosby, why don't we give you the $30 million a year? Here's the funny thing. Trey Hendrickson wants more. Remember, the guy from the Chargers who had 7.5 sacks in 12 games in the good playoff game, he just got $25 million. Trey Hendrickson's like, yeah, I'm a sack a game guy for 4 years, basically. What am I worth? I mean, Danielle Hunter just got a $40 million a year extension. And you want Trey Hendrickson to take 27? I mean, that's why, to me, Baltimore's offer, if they call him, Mark, maybe simply be, hey, we're going to give you Max Crosby's contract. That was a top 5 contract at the position. Okay, so we're not insulting you. I'm sure you want more. Who doesn't? Okay, but we had penciled in Crosby's money. We can give you Crosby's money. I mean, we're not showing you any disrespect here. Okay, you going to take it, yes or no? This shouldn't be hard, by the way. You shouldn't need more than an hour.
Boy, I tell you, the Jacksonville thing's fascinating to me because they also have, I think, a good pass rusher. You put Hendrickson there, I think that front four is pretty damn good, David.
Yeah.
I mean, really damn good. Like, if I'm just thinking front fours.
Yeah, you start thinking.
You might pick Jacksonville ahead of Baltimore. Well, where can I be my best, if you know what I mean?
Totally.
Take the team thing out of it. Where am I going to be great? Boy, Jacksonville with Hendrickson, that's 4 guys. You can get to the quarterback with 4. You got a pretty good D back there. I mean, that defense was really good last year.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, how about the front fours in that division? I mean, Houston and Jacksonville facing them 4 times a year. Damn. If Trey Hendrickson goes to Jacksonville, damn. Those boys can get after it in Houston and Jacksonville. How's our O-line looking again? Cam Ward's like, yeah, all this slot receiver's nice. Do we have an offensive lineman or 2?
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
At the Diamond District, we have that one-of-a-kind ring that she's been dreaming of.
Whether you're beginning to think about proposing or already have something in mind, we're here to help.
Our sales team listens, educates, and guides you to the perfect engagement ring so you don't have to feel intimidated.
We guarantee that whatever you're looking for, you'll find it here.
So when it's time to pop the big question, come visit us, Jason and Todd, at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That would be the funniest thing in the world, David.
Of all the shit, pardon my French, that we've been involved in, that has happened to us, that we have had to endure, and it has been a ton. Okay.
I mean, the irony of all ironies
Would be the topper. Would be the topper.
The more we did that segment, the more I'm talking myself into Hendrickson to Jacksonville. That might make the most sense. That D line would be stupid good.
Yeah.
The back end's already pretty good. I mean,
Walker,
they lost a
Walker
linebacker. They got to get one, but come on now.
Walker and Hines Allen, along with Hendrickson.
Exactly, Adam. Exactly. I mean, think about that. You got Allen on one side, you got Henderson on the other. Their D tackles are pretty damn good. I mean, that was already I mean, I don't know where they finished, but they were, I think, a top 5 defense last year, weren't they?
Oh, they were number 1 against the rush.
Yeah. There's part of me that might, I don't want to get in trouble, but I think I could go to a USF baseball game and literally stand by myself down, I know I'm not supposed to be in crowds, but if I mask up and get way away from everybody, I don't know if they're home the week that Jake's here to take care of me. I know they're not playing ECU that week. I checked.
What weekend's that?
It's the last week of the NHL season. I'm getting Jacob. In fact, I may even ask our buddy in St. Pete if he wants to go. I'll buy it to go to the Wings Lightning game with Jake. Kess can't go because he's staying. Eve comes Monday to replace Jake, and Jake's going to go to the Lightning game, drive back to Fort Myers, and fly out Tuesday. Yeah, but I don't know where the spring game would be, Feeney. It would probably be at Ray J. I don't even know if they're having one. I don't even know where they practice, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's I don't know if they have an indoor practice facility here or what. I'm telling you, though, that it's going to be a game changer when that stadium's done here. Having walked around this campus a ton, The dorms are right there. It's not a big campus.
The Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 17th, 18th, 19th of April, they're home.
No, it's the week before.
Okay, they're on the road. The Tuesday of that week, the 7th, they host FGCU.
Ooh.
6 o'clock.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Seth Everett will join us at the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. All right. So Max Crosby signed a 3-year, $106 million extension. It doesn't even kick in yet. It kicks in after this season. But, you know, they got base salaries and bonuses and cap hits and what have you. I mean, he'll be 29 this year. So he's under contract through his age 32 season. It's basically 30 a year in salary and cap hits. It really is, because he got a big chunk up front and he signed it before last season. So the Raiders inked him and thought we were going to have Max Crosby for 5 years. Well, they had him for 1. They're trying to unload him, and whoever acquires him has him under contract for 4 years at age 29, 30, 31, 32. Hendrickson's 31. Now, big difference. You got to give up draft picks to get Max Crosby. You just got to pay cash to get Trey Hendrickson. So, to me, we've been talking this morning about, can you steal Max Crosby now that the Raiders may be in a spot where, you know, they had already planned life without him, and it's now $30 million they got to put back on their books, which doesn't leave them but $8 million for the rest of the offseason and their draft. So would the Raiders be like, we got to get rid of Max, take the best offer? Okay, but you still probably got to give up a 1, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Now, would you then call Trey Hendrickson, 2 years older, and say, we'll give you the Max Crosby money?
David, I look at it's, to me, Hendrickson would be my first choice.
Okay.
But if he doesn't want to come to me,
right,
i.e. Detroit or a lot of other teams that need a pass rusher, and I don't know what Hendrickson wants, but it certainly seems like the Bucks and the Jags have the edge right now. He wants to play in Florida, and goodness knows no one wants to play for the Dolphins, and they don't have any money anyhow. So if that's the case, then you may not have, you may have already talked to Hendrickson's agent and he said, I'm not going there, wherever there is. Well, Crosby doesn't have the same pull now. He lost hand yesterday.
Right.
With that trade being nixed and it being for a medical reason, he lost hand. So your point is a good one. And yes, I would go get Hendrickson. But if he doesn't want, you're right. One's cash, one's a trade. But the other one has the guy that's cash has a choice of where he wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just, to me, say, well, you just have to pay the cash. Well, no, he has to want to come to you. That's the beauty of being a free agent. You get to choose where you want to go. The team has you can offer the most money, and that wins more times than not. But I don't think the money is going to be that different from team A to team B to team C, D, and E, if you know what I mean. I just don't. I think the agent knows the money's going to be in the same ballpark for 4 or 5 teams. And then the player gets to choose where he wants to go. With Crosby, as you mentioned, he's under contract. He has no hand now. And if you can steal him from the Raiders, and I think the other side of this now, I think Crosby has something to prove. I think you're getting a PO'd Crosby, if you know what I mean. Because he was just shunned by the Ravens after saying, I'll do everything to help this team win a championship. So I think that there's some opportunity for teams to get Crosby that maybe didn't have a shot with where their draft pick was or what they were willing to offer. And the other side of it is teams that were involved in trying to get Crosby from the Raiders, as we pointed out, Dallas, made some moves already defensively. Do they now have the money to get Crosby? Now, you can move things around and shake things up. We get it. And if you're going to extend him, you can do some things creatively to put Crosby under your cap. But the whole game's changed from when the Crosby trade happened until today.
Well, right, because the the Cowboys had not made the deal with Green Bay, bringing Rashawn Gary into the fold. When they were offering a 1 and a 2 for Max Crosby, they weren't spending pretty darn good money on Rashawn Gary on their books. Now Rashawn Gary's on their books, so how in the world can they also afford Max Crosby?
Now, if someone were to try to back out of a trade or a free agent deal between now and 4 o'clock, that would be amazing to me. And I think that's the last thing that Roger Goodell would want to see. Just the optics of it would be terrible. They would. This already looks bad from the Ravens and Raiders standpoint.
One thing to consider, maybe a factor, maybe not. Trey Hendrickson got paid last year. Remember, he held out, wanted a long-term deal. Bengals wouldn't give it to him. Bengals agreed to throw $14 million on top of his salary last year. The Bengals said, you're right. You have outperformed your contract. But when the Bengals signed Trey Hendrickson, they took a bit of a flyer on Trey Hendrickson. They looked at his pressure rate and they said, wow, this he's becoming an elite pass rusher. We're going to get him. And they got him when he was in his mid-20s. And they gave him a contract which escalated so that by the end of it, he was making $16 million a year. And when the Bengals gave him that contract, there were a lot of people in the league that went, wow, you really have a lot of faith in Trey Hendrickson. Well, they were right. So much so that Trey Hendrickson was a steal the last few years of that deal. So the Bengals threw $14 million on top of his $16 million salary. So it is something to consider. Well, obviously, he's made good money. He hasn't made the 4 generations of my family no longer have to work money. He had 1 year of it. So Trey is looking to get paid. He's 31. This is his big contract. He's looking for 3-4 years. He's looking for about $100 million guaranteed.
Right. 4 for 120, 100 guaranteed. I'd do the deal right now. I would do it right now if I were the team.
And I'm with you. Okay. I'm with you. That's 30 a year, which is essentially what Max Crosby is going to cost whoever on the books. Yeah, Trey's 2 years older, less of an injury history, and here you go. Now,
because Crosby's getting 29, right?
Yeah, it's complicated, but yeah.
But I only say that because if it's $1 million more, it doesn't matter. Guys, they stack things. I'm getting paid more than him. That's important. Even if it's only $1 million. And hell, if you got to make it 31 and go 4 for 124, I'm okay with that.
Well, but the most important thing is 100. I mean, you and I are willing to guarantee, Trey, we're guaranteeing you $100 million in your 30s. And you and I are looking at it from a Tampa Bay and a Jacksonville point of view. So we're also looking at them going, and you get to stay in Florida, which is where you want to stay. You live in Ponte Vedra.
Right. So at least 8 of those games maybe 9 are going to be tax-free every year. State tax-free, if you will.
Right. So there you have it. Crosby or Hendrickson, who do you want? One's 2 years younger. One will cost you draft picks. The other will cost you just cash. Your call. Seth Everett coming up at the top of the hour. Answer our poll question. What was the most remarkable thing that happened in sports yesterday? The fun is happening now at the Southwest Florida Ag Expo. Bring the whole family. Thrilling midway rides, delicious fair food, good old-fashioned Florida fun. Experience agriculture up close. Meet the farm animals. Celebrate a community's roots. Live entertainment, family activities all day long. All under one roof at the Mike Greenwell Regional Park, formerly the Lee County Civic Center. Get details and daily schedules at swflagexpo.com. That's swflagexpo.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton. So we're going to do something here in the state, but we'll not be going to help too much shit to do.
For 1 year, Leftwich? I mean, he's 36. So, I mean, for this year, I don't think you're right, but you might be. He's 36. Now, you can get him a hell of a lot cheaper. I got you, but
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, Seth Everett at the top of the hour. There were 3 remarkable sports happenings yesterday. And our poll question is for you to decide which one was more remarkable or the most remarkable. It's the biggest trade with the most high-profile player to get nixed because of a physical this century in the NFL. And in fact, you got to go back a long ways. But Max Crosby's trade to the Ravens is off, reportedly because he failed the physical. The Raiders can afford him, but they only have $7.9 million left under the cap, which basically will cover their draft picks. So their offseason may be over if they can't peddle Max Crosby. The United States lost to Italy in baseball.
in baseball, let that sink in.
Now, we all know there's guys playing for Italy. I mean, it's not like Czechia.
No, it's a good prospect team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy to become an Italian citizen. It truly is. And to play, this isn't an Olympic sport, but to play as an athlete for Italy is not hard. They will grant you citizenship for having Italian heritage. These are all, for the most part, major league players, but it was going against an all-star team. More on that in a moment. But yes, we lost to Italy in baseball.
And because of it, we need help tonight to stay alive in the World Baseball Classic, or we could be out. Italy's playing Mexico tonight, and Italy win, and we advance. But if Mexico wins, they need to score a certain number of runs. The more, the better. But if they win like 3-2, 4-2, we're out. We need them to score runs. So anyway, we lost to Italy in baseball. And Bam Adebayo scored 83 points in an NBA game. His career high was 41. Now, there was some chicanery near the end. The Heat at the end, they were they were fouling the Wizards as soon as they inbounded the ball and giving them 2 free throws because they wanted the ball back because they wanted to get it to Bam so he could score as much as possible. So near the end of the game, it got, got a little hokey, but 83.
I've got to admit, David, you have spent this show on Bam talking out of both sides of your mouth. You yell Bam and yell 83 and then poo-poo it. You've got to pick a side. Which one are you on? The 83 or what did you call it?
Chicanery.
The chicanery and before the free throws. I mean, you have played both sides of this all morning.
Well, can't everything be true? I mean, he shot the most free throws that anyone's ever shot in an NBA game.
And someone sent you during the last break a post on X that has every single foul, every single one. So I advise you during the next break to take a look.
I'm just stunned it's him when his career high was 41. He's not a scorer, 16 points, 9 rebounds a game, 3-time All-Star. Very good player. But I mean, not a fill up the basket, Bam's hot. Oh, okay. So did he score 32 last night? This isn't Harden getting hot. This isn't KD or Steph getting hot. It's just like, wow, this guy's a grinder.
I'm just saying.
I know. I'm shocked. I'm just shocked.
Saying.
I'm shocked. I'm more on the side of 83 is stupendous, remarkable, ridiculous. Wow. Amazing. But there is also a part of me that's just like, how the hell did Bam Adebayo score 83 points?
Well, when you score 31 in the first quarter, it's a good start.
It really is. You make a dadgum good point.
So, I mean, I will say, when you start that way, the team knows you're feeling it. And it wasn't like he piled on all the points in the last 4 minutes. Okay.
No.
So some things happened late in the game, but he had 62 going to the fourth. 62.
Yep. Yeah. Right. No.
All right. One last thing I want to get to, and I know we'll talk about it more, but a couple of things have come out here in the last 30 or so minutes regarding the Raiders and Max Crosby, but I'd like to move on in a second if we could. But Albert Breer reporting that the Raiders will honor all agreements they made with free agents, both their own and the incoming guys over the last 48 hours, despite the developments of last night. All options remain in play with Crosby. Vegas is certainly very open to keeping him. He also said that they're not going to give away Crosby as a discount. Well, we'll pay attention to that as it goes along, because I don't know how they believe they can get anything close to what they got from the Ravens following a failed physical. But you never know. But I want to talk about the debacle that was the U.S. losing to Italy.
In baseball.
Because, in specifically, I want to talk about the manager, Mark DeRosa.
Right.
Who said after the game in an interview, or talked before the game in an interview, and said that U.S. had made it through the pool round. He didn't know the rules to the tournament he was in. He didn't. And he's now backed off it and said, I misspoke, and he's taken the blame for that. But why it's a big deal is they played Italy, and Cal Raleigh, Bryce Harper, Alex Bregman, along with a couple of others that were starters and his top hitters, all were on the bench to start the game against Team Italy. If this thing ends up going badly today and Mexico wins a 4-3 game against Italy, what's DeRosa do for his day job?
He's the commentator on MLB Network.
All right. I know they won't, but if you were in charge of MLB Network talent, could you put him on the air ever again? And I'm trying to think who the football. Oh, it was Millen. When Matt Millen, who was a terrific analyst, when he was a college football analyst before he got the job to be the general manager for the Detroit Lions and stunk to high heaven at that job, he was a terrific analyst.
He was viewed as the second best, maybe in the NFL behind Madden.
Right. Okay. So I remember a quote by you. You and I have been doing this a long time. And for me to remember anything, because I can't remember what we talked about last segment half the time, but I do remember you saying something to the effect of, and it's not an exact quote, after he got the Lions job and just completely failed as a general manager of the Lions. They went 0 for under his direction as general manager.
Correct.
And you said this was maybe the second best analyst in the NFL.
Right.
You can't hire him as an analyst anymore.
Nope.
He can't do the job after what he did in Detroit.
Nope. A guy who had been nothing but a winner his whole career. Penn State, 3 different Super Bowls with 3 different franchises, the Raiders, the Redskins, and the Niners. Okay, they were the Redskins then, so don't give me grief. All right, so nothing but a winner, the ultimate winner. That's who Detroit was hiring, a winner.
And I remember that happening, and I don't remember a soul in Detroit thinking they made the wrong move.
No.
It was applauded from coast to coast by football people.
Right.
And it failed miserably.
Yeah.
Miserably. I mean, epic proportions.
Yep.
So I bring all of that up. If you're running the MLB network right now, David, and now again, if Mexico wins and scores more than 6 runs, or if Italy wins, the U.S. goes on, could still win the World Baseball Classic. Okay. They get through pool. It doesn't matter. This could all be a non-story. Hell, by 10 o'clock tonight. But if somehow, some way,
right,
the final score is such, Mexico 4-3.
Yep.
That the U.S. team doesn't get out of pool play. And he sat 6 of his top hitters to start the game because he thought they were through pool play. If you're running the MLB network, do you fire him?
It's only one mistake. He's arguably their best analyst. Okay, now I know they view Harold Reynolds as their best guy, and I will say DeRosa works during the day. You got to be a baseball goober to see DeRosa on MLB Network. He's there like late morning, early afternoon. Okay, do I fire him? No, but I do pull him in and say, listen, I still want you to do what it is you do, but just remember, if you criticize a manager, you got to bring up your screw up.
Okay.
You got to say as a guy who epically screwed up as a manager, okay, I know about screw ups, and Tito Francona screwed up in the 8th inning last night. Okay, but you better get your qualifier out there.
Do you at least make him wear a court jester's outfit or a dunce hat for the first month he's on the air?
Well, I think I would try to have some fun with Mark. We're going to play a game. Do you know the rules? Because yes, for the manager of Team USA to not know heading into last night's game that if they lose it, they could be out is amazing, actually. It's amazing how that could be. And they were down 8-0, and don't laugh. We may only advance because we rallied to lose 8-6 because the tiebreaker is a convoluted mess of runs and outs and a percentage. It's crazy.
And the right guy was at the plate at the end. I mean, they had Judge at the plate as the tying run, and he K'd.
Yeah. But now I do think stuff like this can happen in baseball more than you do. Like the electrician for Czechia who threw 5 shutout innings against Japan yesterday. He's an
And
electrician.
struck out Ohtani.
Right.
How cool is that?
It was awesome. By the way, give it up to the Japanese fans. Okay, they knew all about him. They gave him a standing ovation walking off the field.
Yeah,
They knew
what
it
a
was
class
his
move by
last
their
game.
fans.
Oh my God, it was great.
Awesome.
But I mean, he's an electrician by day. He throws 5 shutout innings against Japan.
And of course, someone in the chat room says, you say that like you've never made a mistake, Mark. No, first off, I make mistakes all the time. I admit them all the time. I guess you've never listened to this show. Been doing this for 20 years. I make a boatload of mistakes. I am not a key analyst for the MLB network. I don't even consider myself in the sports media world. I'm trying to entertain folks for 4 hours every day. Do I make mistakes? Hell yes. All the time. Own all of them. Own every single one of them. Always have, always will. You know, since I brought up the dunce cap, David, I do have to say, one, you know, there's probably young people that have no idea what that is. Like sitting in the corner. I don't know if you ever had to sit in the corner in a classroom.
Had to stand in the corner.
Yeah, stand with your nose to the wall, right?
Yes, facing the wall. Yes.
This was what teachers, and I know most of us are old enough to remember, this is what teachers had us do. I had a science teacher in high school. Now, I went to a private school so they could get away with more. But I also went to public grade school and was spanked by both the second grade teacher and the principal. Okay? The principal, Mrs. Eater, had a paddle behind her desk, hanging on the wall. But we had a science teacher, Mr. Oswald. He was a good man. He was funny. And he had a peculiar voice, and he didn't call people dunces, but he called them baboons. Why he used baboons, but he had a stuffed baboon in a chair in the corner. And if you got in trouble, you went to the baboon chair. And I'm just laughing at that. You know, when I said dunce cap, it triggered something in my head. Because could you imagine in today's world if someone had to sit in the baboon chair? He would have been fired within seconds.
True.
At any school, private or public.
Hopefully the U.S. advances, but I'll bet you behind closed doors, the players have a lot of fun with DeRosa, okay, in which they may tie him up in a chair and start peppering him with like WBC tiebreaker questions. Okay, this will not be forgotten. Hopefully, we can laugh this off. Seth Everett
Do you have a
is
sleep
next.
problem but don't want to wear a CPAP mask? This is Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. The mask wasn't working for me, and I didn't think I had an alternative. I do. We all do. They have such simple alternatives with greater success than the mask. Visit sleeptreatmentdirect.com. That's sleeptreatmentdirect.com. And if you are like me and your CPAP machine isn't working for you, it's time for a change. Call 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. The fun is happening now at the Southwest Florida Ag Expo. Bring the whole family. Thrilling midway rides, delicious fair food, good old-fashioned Florida fun. Experience agriculture up close. Meet the farm animals. Celebrate a community's roots. Live entertainment, family activities all day long. All under one roof at the Mike Greenwell Regional Park, formerly the Lee County Civic Center. Get details and daily schedules at swflagexpo.com. That's swflagexpo.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Seth.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you?
I'm good.
Is it match day for Arsenal today, or are you just wearing
Champions League game today? Yeah,
Champions League? Okay.
Champions League, very big today. It starts the knockout stage.
Who do they play? Are they playing a B team from the English league, or are they actually
No,
playing a real
it's a
team?
pretty good team. Leverkusen.
Oh, Leverkusen. Yeah, they've got
Schmuley and
Hold on. Is that like liverwurst? Is that?
no, it's a real team. I don't know any other players.
Is it in Bundesliga? What is that where they play?
Bundesliga, yeah, they're in Germany
Bundesliga,
now.
okay.
Yeah. They're in Germany, and 1:30 or 1:45. And both, so my Montclair gig, it's spring break. So I don't have class this week.
I gotta say, Seth, I don't know how this happened to me because I've not looked up anything University of Tampa, but I'm in Tampa right now.
Yeah.
So I go down my TikTok holes and they figure out where you are because I'm seeing all these restaurant reviews and actually they've been great because I've found a handful of restaurants because of them. But all of a sudden I start getting in, I'm 56. I don't look at porn. I don't care about that stuff, or I don't look at young women. I think it's gross. But I've started getting all these University of Tampa things
because of the
and
show.
their pool area. Holy pachanga.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a scene. And they've got this big outdoor concert thing, or just had it, or this concert your daughter's going to a little bit of a party school here.
Yeah. Yep. She but I've had an interesting debate with some friends. I think every school is a party school.
I agree with that. I think 9 out of 10.
I think the reasons to go are not the pool, but the class size. Not the class size, the school size. I mean,
right.
It's only like 5,000 kids.
Right.
It's a little smaller for her. She's gonna find out what she wants to do with her life, but she's gonna do it poolside. I mean, she's gonna be on that pool every day
too. She's got a cool city around her too.
Yeah, that's the best part.
I mean, because it's right downtown. So you got the Harbor District. I mean, if she wanted to go see a Devils game when they come to town, I mean, it's right there. So
yeah, I just told her she's not allowed to buy a Lightning shirt.
Oh,
she can go to as many games as she wants because they have student rates, so the tickets are super cheap. And she wants to go to a bunch of games, but and she can go and she can even cheer, but she cannot get a Lightning shirt. She can get a million Spartans shirts, not Lightning.
What if
I'm
she
sending
spends her own money?
I'm sending her one.
Yeah, no, she's not allowed. It's not allowed.
I am sending her a Lightning shirt. Just tell her when she gets a gift from a guy named from Miller and Moulton.
From Miller and Moulton.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you could tell her, they're a bunch of creepy old guys that but that's okay.
We went to a admitted student event, and each young lady was prettier than the next. Tampa is quite a place.
Well, Mark's wife walked around campus and said to him, "The women here are beautiful. I haven't seen one good-looking guy."
But I will say, when I saw the Tampa pictures, very different than USF. A lot of good-looking young men in those pictures too.
I just like it's 10 minutes from the airport. It's perfect. It's for what she wanted. This was as good as it was going to get.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this hump day, at least in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, Fort Myers, and Naples. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Seth Everett is kind enough to join us. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Okay, we spent the commercial break. You really should join us. Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, YouTube.com/Miller and Moulton. Okay, you can see us. You can hear us talk during the breaks. We were talking.
You can
about
watch my mom clean up coffee.
I waved to her right before we came back. Hi, Mom.
She brought my breakfast to me and then just decided to spill her coffee all over the floor behind me.
Well,
I was wondering if you were going to mention it.
yeah.
I'm not sure why she didn't have the top on her coffee. It was, one of those lids that I think she thought she pressed on.
Right. Right.
And it's pretty funny. One of the big the sign you see everywhere here is, if you are going to bring any drink to your room other than water, it needs to have a lid. And coffee was just dumped all over the floor. So, I get where I get my rule breaking from.
There you go.
It is inherited by both my mom and my late father, not rule followers, either of them.
And speaking of rule breaking, that's why we have Seth Everett on Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. We were just discussing his oldest daughter and her going soon to the University of Tampa. And he's very happy about that. Although I have to admit, I think you've put an unfair rule on her before she's even attended college. Okay, granted, yes, your girls, you're big Devils fans, but she's going to spend at least 4 years in Tampa. Okay, she's going to go to Lightning games. Okay, I mean, the Lightning will probably become her second favorite team.
Oh, second favorite team.
Let her root for a winner, Seth.
All right. I mean, and you have told her that she is not allowed to purchase a Lightning t-shirt?
Not a Tampa Bay Lightning shirt. She can get as many Tampa Spartans shirts she wants. She even bought me one for my birthday last week. I have a Tampa Dad shirt.
Okay.
And no, but you can go to the Lightning games.
What if
the NHL?
What if it's a promotion? What if they shoot the cannons and
catches a t-shirt? She caught two t-shirts in her life at the Prudential Center. You're saying she's going to catch a third?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm saying it's possible.
Sure. What are the odds of that?
Not nearly as good as the odds of Miller and Moulton sending her a Lightning gift pack in the mail next year.
Yeah, it's
right
done.
Yeah, what?
It's done. I mean, let us know when she checks in, and September, she'll have Lightning stuff everywhere. Hell, we may throw in some Rays and Bucks stuff just for the hell of it.
No, it'll just be Lightning. And here's the deal, Seth, and I don't know how to get a hold of her, but if I could, I would get a hold of your ex-wife, because she would give me your daughter's address and do this just to piss you off, because that's how ex-wives operate.
How do you know she's not a listener?
Well, she may be most of the week, but not Wednesdays at 8.
Yeah. I used to when I was covering baseball, and I used to go on different radio stations all over the country. I would do it when we were driving in the car. I would have the wired headphones like Mark has, like those headphones, and I would do segments. I would go on in Chicago or to Boston or wherever I was going, and to a T, she would fall asleep during my segments. It was telling the sound of my voice projecting put her to sleep.
Right.
Well, I guess arguments weren't as bad as we may think. All right, Seth. I believe today, Mexico beating Italy, 4-3 is your dream scenario as an MLB GM, because what you hate about all of these tournaments, whether it's Olympic hockey, whether it's the World Baseball Classic, whether it's World Cup soccer, you have been on this, you've stayed true, you've never deviated. Yep. You hate them all because you don't like players who play for their teams to get injured.
Correct.
So with that being said, if you're a GM in, Philly, the Yankees, name the team with a good American player on it, you're rooting for Mexico to win a 4-3 game today, aren't you?
Well, to a degree, I would be thinking, who from the major leagues is on Mexico. I don't have the rosters. I have not paid attention to any of this. So it's part of that. I think the most egregious part, and the thing that I was annoyed about, was Skubal. Skubal, who literally sat with the Tigers and designed a workout routine and said, we are going to incorporate one start into this tournament. And then just the pomp and the circumstance and the patriotism and all this stuff changed his mind, and he just wants to change. And just the idea is, that's why don't have this tournament in March. Do not have this tournament in March. I understand what patriotism is, and I understand why players want to do this. Just like I understood why the hockey players want to do this. But have some respect for the season you're about to have. It's 162 games. So when Skubal's on the 15-day DL in June because he's thrown too many innings too soon, that's baseball. And baseball is different than hockey. So it's not Kevin Fiala getting hurt. It's just these guys have only enough bullets in the holster. And then, of course, you compromise your competition because you have pitch count limits. I'm sorry, guys. Look, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, and I certainly do not care that people are watching this thing. This thing sounds like a whole bunch of hogwash to me.
Ratings have been excellent. The first two USA games did 2.5 and 2.9 million. Don't know what the USA-Mexico ratings were. They were not in last night. But Fox is loving so far the fan turnout in front of their TVs to Team USA playing in the World Baseball Classic, which is why last night's loss to Italy and the fact that if the Mexico-Italy game today doesn't go a certain way, the U.S. is out, would be awful for Fox, awful for Major League Baseball, but maybe good news for a few teams and a few GMs. Seth, when they have...
Remember, this is a jerry-rigged tournament by Major League Baseball. This is baseball's thing.
Yes, this is. And this is, they cash the checks here, okay? All of them. But listen, it's huge in the Dominican. It's huge in Asia. I'm just saying.
Of course it is. Play it in November. Yeah, I'm not saying don't have it.
See, we think July. No, and we think the Olympics is going to change everything. When they're in the Olympics in 28, and they will be, the commissioner wants it and the players want it. It may be the only two things that those two parties actually agree on. When they play in the Olympics in 28, and it's a staggering success, it may eliminate All-Star Week in Major League Baseball, or at least every other year or whatever, because they're going to play this sucker in July after we play the Olympics in 28.
And Seth, I actually agree with you. If you were in a perfect world, you're going to do it in November after the season. Here's the problem. It's these three letters. It's called the NFL. And you're not going to get what you would normally get if you do it in July when the whole sports world shut down.
But college basketball is not really starting. I think you could play it during the week. Just don't play Sunday afternoons. That's no big deal.
Or Monday or Thursday or Saturday. I mean, come on.
I don't know.
You can play Tuesday, Wednesday. That's it.
Again, I'm not trying to pee on this thing. Like I don't care. I don't. I read the Skubal thing and I just was like, oh my God, now
that's okay.
For this.
He changed his tune though. After, all
because the Tigers probably said, what are you, out of your mind? And his agent said, you're a free agent. What the heck's wrong with you?
Yeah, we think it was Boris more so than the Tigers. I mean, he's got to throw. What difference does it make if he throws the 5 innings for Team USA or if he does it in Lakeland for the Tigers?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to get his work in. It's just a number of pitches. That's all. I mean, however many outs he gets. But, it's 70, 75, 80 pitches, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, but they're high stress innings. It's different innings.
Well, but like Skeens only threw 60 pitches, and they took that into consideration. Normally, if he was in Bradenton with the Pirates and he was starting in a preseason exhibition game, okay, he would have thrown 70, 75, 80. But because it was Team USA, they stopped him right at 60. Boom, got him out of there.
Right. And then the 8-year-old's like, why are they taking him out?
Yeah, well, that's all.
Well,
At
9 o'clock
why
start.
are they
What
taking the
8-year-olds
guy
watch?
out? He's good. What?
I said it starts so late. I don't know how many 8-year-olds are allowed to watch it.
I didn't even know that. I watched the ACC tournament yesterday. I watched like 10 minutes of it, but that's over. I'm going to Devils Calgary on Thursday. I have not, this thing has not even scratched the surface. We're not even putting the updates of the scores in my iHeart updates. It just hasn't been on anybody's radar.
That's interesting. I would have thought you would have fit in the Team USA scores, but okay. All right.
I don't know.
Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Which one you feel like doing this week?
Hall of Justice. It's Cam Clark. He's a noted, very famous voiceover actor. He was one of the original Ninja Turtles, and he was the voice of He-Man.
Wait a minute.
Cam
No.
Clark.
Which Ninja Turtle? Don't say he's one of the Ninja Turtles. Who was he?
Want to say Donatello?
All right.
I don't know. It comes out tomorrow. I'm going to put it together today. I'll find out. I don't
I'm
remember.
gonna need to know that.
I don't remember which Ninja Turtle, but we talked about Ninja Turtles. The 4 Ninja Turtles, by the way, from the 80s, they're all Hall of Fame announcers, and it's pretty wild. So it was like a who's who from them.
Okay.
Yeah. So Cam Clark, He-Man, very exciting.
Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. He's Seth Everett. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Seth, at least do us a favor. Start greasing the skids with your oldest daughter and said, listen, you're going to get a package in 6 months from a couple buddies of mine. And do not speak badly of us. Do not make us seem like creepy old guys.
Yeah. I'll just have to teach her return to sender.
See if I can get her a Getzel jersey autographed.
Yeah. Her new faves. Her new fave.
Miller and Moulton. Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Check them out.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
At the Diamond District, we have that one-of-a-kind ring that she's been dreaming of.
Whether you're beginning to think about proposing or already have something in mind, we're here to help.
Our sales team listens, educates, and guides you to the perfect engagement ring so you don't have to feel intimidated.
We guarantee that whatever you're looking for, you'll find it here.
So when it's time to pop the big question, come visit us, Jason and Todd, at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Minnesota seems to be the team he's most linked to, Dan, but we'll see. I wouldn't take him. I think he sucks. I don't think he cares. That's just me. Wouldn't be the first time I was wrong today, but I get the price, but I mean, I would have done what Atlanta did. I'd much rather take a shot on Tua for the league minimum than Kyler Murray. Now, Kyler as a backup, the way he runs around, I think could win a game for you. I mean, I will say that. The problem is if Minnesota signs him, he may end up starting, and I don't think he's the answer as a starting quarterback. I mean, I tried to get Getzel on the show. He politely said no to my buddy. I think I could get him to sign a jersey for Seth.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. So today's the day. This is it. This is the day in which certain people find out who Brian Rolapp is. And if you don't know, he's they call him the CEO. He's the commissioner of the PGA Tour. Well, I mean, Tiger's probably the commissioner of the PGA Tour, but they let Brian Rolapp, they gave him the title and the office and the money. And so today's the day, apparently, Mark. Rolapp having the presser down here in Ponte Vedra. And he's going to tell everybody what the tour is going to look like going forward.
Okay, he's not. See, I thought he wasn't having it at the Players itself.
No,
I thought
he's having it somewhere else nearby. Okay. Because remember, they used to have the whole World Golf Village there. The Hall of Fame left and went to Pinehurst. Okay. So anyway, it's now got a name. It's being called the scarcity model. All right. That's what they think he's going to unveil. That doesn't sound good. I'd come up with another name. We can do better than that.
I agree with that.
I mean, I throw a lot of bad ideas at you. You twist them, you turn them around, you put lipstick on that pig pretty quickly. If I threw the scarcity model at you, you'd be like, give me a commercial break. I can come up with better than that. The scarcity model. What is it? Who likes scarcity? Food, clothes.
That is as bad of a name as I've ever heard.
Listen, our buddies, Azinger, Curtis Strange, they've gone on the record in the last couple of days going, well, from what I'm hearing, I don't like it. It ain't our tour, that's for sure. So, but today's the day. Brian Rolapp. And Mark, it's a good thing he's talking because Rory's not. He's got a bad back. He's showing up today. He's not going to meet with the media. All right. I'll be curious if Rory can finish the Players.
Well, there was a lot of talk of whether or not he was even going to play. He's going to try to tough it out and play this week, which obviously the tour wants. I mean, he's as big of a draw as there is out there.
He's
not the best player, but I think I actually think Rory's a bigger draw than Scheffler.
I do too. He is the defending champion also. I mean, you think about it, the last three winners of the Players are Scheffler, and Rory. I mean, it's pretty good. They've also won, I think, 3 of the last 4 Masters. So something.
Yeah, scarcity model. I would have gone with something else.
Brian Rolapp, Rollapp. If you're into golf, all right, you may or may not have heard of him. You've probably never really seen him speak before. This apparently is it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how many events go away. We'll see how much of the West Coast swing remains the West Coast swing. How much of the Florida swing remains the Florida swing.
And the one thing that is, I don't know, I guess interesting is to me that the commissioner, CEO Rolapp there, he wants to play big markets.
Right.
One of the things that the tour's done a great job of that I don't think they maybe get the credit for that they deserve. They raise a boatload of money in the communities they play. And that's always been something that the PGA Tour players, David, have kind of hung their hat on. It's, I hate doing this. It's kind of that phony charity. David, I worked for a minor pro team. We raised a bunch of money for, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, we didn't give them that money. We didn't come off our hip for any of that money.
Right.
We raised that money through the fans and then donated it to charities. So the money still went to charities, but the company I worked for didn't do really anything to give money. But because of who they were, they raised the money.
Right. They provided the outlet. The money doesn't get raised without them, but the money didn't come off their hip.
Right. And that's the same thing with the PGA Tour. It's the fans attending the events that's really raising the money.
Right.
But this is where the PGA Tour was a 501(c) company. Now they still are, but they have that for-profit wing. I don't think anything will change, and this is a little mix of politics and sport, but under the current administration, obviously our president loves golf. He's not going to do anything to hurt the PGA Tour's status. But you wonder down the road with these changes if that would be challenged, whether it's 3 years from now or not. So I look where the tour's going. I'm curious when they're going to start, because to me, it's ignorant to not play the week between the Super Bowl or the championship weekend and the Super Bowl. I mean, it's stupid. It's flat. If you're saying we're not starting until after the Super Bowl, then you're morons. You really are. Because the week before, it's a standalone event, and Phoenix Super Bowl week works.
Mark, I could even argue you should be playing conference championship weekend. Okay, there's no football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the earliest the conference championship game kicks off is 3 Eastern. Finish the Sunday round by 3. You can do it. You can.
I know they're out west, then maybe you stick that event in Florida.
Yeah.
If you're moving things around, and I know the players don't like to go back and forth, but NASCAR's done it for a long time. I mean, they go, they went for years, David. They'd go Daytona, Phoenix, Atlanta. And you and I would go, what the hell are they doing? But these guys are all flying private. It's not that hard to pull off.
Tough on the crews, but not on the drivers.
But not in golf, if you know what I mean.
Right. So we'll see how many tournaments they're getting rid of. I think the big story coming at it today, I think they're going to make a big push. I think Brian Roloff is going to stand there, look into the camera, and he's going to say the Players' Championship is the 5th major. There are 5 majors on the LPGA Tour. There are 5 majors on the Champions Tour. Okay? And quite frankly, this has been a major championship for the last 40 years. And he's going to have to say some things to honk some people off. He's going to have to talk about we've got better fields than. I might not name the tournaments, but I think he needs to say, hey, our field doesn't take a backseat to anyone. And just let everybody else figure out it's a better field than the Masters and the PGA and, right on down the line.
And I hope with every fiber in my being that every golf writer out there attacks him for it and says there's 4 majors. There will always be 4 majors. You can tell us whatever you want, but it's not a major. I really do. I hate this.
Okay.
I despise this.
Who's the one person that can squash this?
Tiger.
Right.
And Tiger's going to agree. I mean, he's the one telling him that.
All right. So what if he doesn't? If you're Rory, now he's already won the Players, so, you want to call it a career Grand Slam. I've won that too. Okay. But see, to me, this is where Tiger, Scheffler, Rory, they come out and go, you got to be kidding me. Like Koepka was asked the question yesterday, and he said, I see what you're trying to do. I'm not going to go there. But he's basically, if you read between the lines, he said this is a great tournament. It's not a major. The fun is happening now at the Southwest Florida Ag Expo. Bring the whole family. Thrilling midway rides, delicious fair food, good old-fashioned Florida fun. Experience agriculture up close. Meet the farm animals. Celebrate a community's roots. Live entertainment, family activities all day long. All under one roof at the Mike Greenwell Regional Park, formerly the Lee County Civic Center. Get details and daily schedules at swflagexpo.com. That's swflagexpo.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And I'm the one that typed that. And guys, I'm not trying to belittle you at all. Don't take it that way. I appreciate your help. But when it comes to our show, what stations we're on and what time, I would appreciate it if you let us answer those questions, okay? I know you're just trying to help. I get it. But several of you said, well, the station doesn't work anymore. It didn't work for 24 hours, okay? We're in tune and in touch with all of these folks daily. So we know exactly what's going on. We love all of you. We thank you very much for listening. But please just let us answer those, okay? Forever. We do a 4-hour show, Panda. We're not just on in Fort Myers, Naples. Our two biggest markets are Jacksonville and Tampa. They take all 4 hours of the show. We have a company working to get us in other markets. So we do a 4-hour show. Not only does Tampa run the 4th hour, they replay our entire show from 6 to 10 at night, I believe, if they're not airing games. No, again, guys, I'm not picking a fight here. I'm trying to be as sincere as possible. I'm not trying to be mean. I am not attacking anyone. I'm just asking, okay? That's all. I'm really doing my best here to be very sincere. I thank you for trying. But when it comes to questions about our show, I would just ask all of you to let us answer those, okay? That's all. That's all.
I don't think we have any plans not to do the bonus hour. It airs in our two biggest markets. not where we're the most popular. We're obviously most popular in the 239 where we started, but
we have I was yesterday, and I guess I'll do it because we haven't talked much off air, but I got a message that there's another app out there that might be picking us up from G.
Great.
Yeah. Well, in producer wannabes is one thing, Jake, answering questions about the show. We know you all want to produce and tell us what to say and information about sports. It's all well and good. It's fine. I just, when you start answering listeners that come in and ask specific questions and you give misinformation, you're playing Mark DeRosa on our show, and I don't need that. See what I did there, David?
I did, actually. Even Raj laughed. I like when Raj laughs. Okay, lets me know he's paying attention. Or he just woke up. One or the other.
Oh, Raj and I had a talk yesterday about the Rock Hall of Fame. New edition, second in fan voting. Just blow the place up. Just close it. Shut it down. It's a disgrace.
Mr. Telephone Man has its place, but it's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I went to bed in a horrible mood last night. That Wings game ended. I hadn't taken a shower all day, which it dawned on me. I took a shower and went to bed, and I was just angry.
It's funny what sports can do.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
$22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. 3 remarkable sports happenings yesterday. Which do you think was most remarkable? Team USA losing to Italy in baseball. Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points in an NBA game, the second most ever. And the Ravens calling up the Raiders and going, yeah, this Max Crosby trade, yeah, we're out. Wait, what? Out. Couldn't pass the physical. And the Raiders are like, well, everybody knows he can't pass the physical right now. He had surgery. Everybody knows he's not going to be ready till June, July. What do you mean can't pass a physical? So, I'll be curious the fallout from this. Is this just an isolated thing, or is this going to be something that blows back on the Ravens? Because remember, the Ravens are the highly thought of organization. The Raiders are minor league for 30 years now. The Ravens, they're the model. The Raiders, they're a joke. But quite frankly, most of the league, off the record, out of the side of their mouth, is going, what the hell do the Ravens do? Yeah, we all know he can't pass a physical right now. He had surgery 2 months ago. He's going to need 3-4 more months. He may not even be 100% by the beginning of camp. What's their problem? They knew that when they traded for him. What's going on? And it will be interesting, Mark, if at the end of the day, the Ravens just got cold feet. And they said, upon further review, because the Ravens have never done anything like this. They had never, since coming into existence, since the Browns became the Ravens in 1996. 30 years of having first-round draft picks. They had never traded one. And so this was a staggeringly big move for the Ravens franchise. And 4 days later, did they just get cold feet within 24 hours of when they could back out?
One of the things I saw that I found very amusing, there was a post, and I don't recall. I was reading a lot this morning, but it was just a funny post. And I don't think there's any there. But it basically says Goodell's probably not happy with the Ravens doing what they did. It's a bad look for the league. And I agree with that part. So just stop there. This is the fun part. He then says, if I'm Goodell, I make sure that because the Raiders are hosting the Ravens not this year, but in 2027. I'm sending them to Mexico City for the game. And I just found that amusing. It's like we're gonna figure out a way to punish the Ravens in some way, shape, or form for this. That really Goodell has no because they did nothing technically wrong.
No,
there's nothing illegal about what the Ravens can do. It's not like Park Avenue can come down and say we're going to take away a third-round pick because you nixed this trade. Crosby didn't do anything wrong. The Raiders didn't do anything wrong. The Ravens didn't do anything wrong. But there are a lot of people, like David said, that failing him on the physical while he's 6-8 weeks off of a meniscus surgery.
God, I mean, the whole league is like, everybody knows he's not going to be able to be close to doing anything football related till June or July. Of course he can't pass a physical now. I mean, half the league is like, why'd they even give him a physical? I mean, what's going on? So interesting. We'll see if this has legs.
And, you and I have been as high on the Baltimore franchise. As long as we've done a show, we've thought as highly as Baltimore as a franchise as any other team in the league.
Yeah.
Any other team in the league.
Absolutely.
And that's going, we've done a show throughout a Patriot dynasty.
Uh-huh.
But we have always thought, and we've laughed so many times because teams are trading on draft day and they're moving up here and they're doing this. And all of a sudden, a guy that's supposed to be picked 12th is there at 20th and the Ravens grab him. Like Lindenbaum, I think, was a guy that just fell into their lap. And we're like, well, here it goes again.
Kyle Hamilton falls to the Ravens. And everybody said, he's one of the top 5 players on the board. And he fell to like 11 or something like that. And the Ravens said, well, we'll take him.
And now Harbaugh wasn't the personnel director. But in the last few years, the front office that had been there forever has changed in Baltimore.
Right. Ozzy's not the final voice.
And he was for a generation.
Right.
So that's my question. In here, they lost a lot of guys to free agency. Your Giants grabbed a bunch.
4 of them. Never mind, others went elsewhere.
Right.
I mean, there are some good teams that have lost. Seattle's lost a decent amount. Baltimore's lost a decent amount.
But as you well know, a huge difference between those two franchises. Seattle, they're fine. They just won the last game.
Right.
Who's going to get pissed at the Seattle Seahawks? Their fans aren't. First off, the fan base is ridiculously good in Seattle. Maybe the most underrated fan base in the league. And you've been out there enough to know that that's true.
Awesome.
But we don't pay attention, to the Seattles and San Franciscos the way we do the teams on the East Coast. I get it.
It's a college atmosphere. It is raucous.
But now, the Raiders basically saying, and it came out in a post, Albert Breer saying, look, they're not going to take a discount for Crosby. Well, does that mean they're not moving him?
That's cute. There's a part of me that'd be like, that's cute. What do you expect him to say? You expect him to go, holy blank, Batman. We're screwed now. Anybody offer us a 2 and a 4, they get them.
And there's a Chicago guy that's been saying, Crosby was on a podcast saying he'd like to play in Chicago, or, would love to be there. Hey, maybe that's the case. Maybe Chicago can pull it off. Detroit just restructured Goff's contract to free up $30-odd million. Seems like that's the right amount to get a Crosby or a Hendrickson on your roster.
It is.
Dallas has just spent for a lot of guys. What do they have left?
Like Dallas offered a first and a second for Crosby before they made the Rashawn Gary trade with Green Bay, who, by the way, has lost quite a few guys. I mean, be very curious as to the Packers when they line up next year. They've lost some dudes here lately.
The Cowboys got to restructure a couple of guys to get under the cap still. I mean, and they will, and they'll get that done. But they're right now, what I see is like $10 million over the cap when you include, what they call effective cap space. So they've got to move some things around.
Dolphins got under the cap by restructuring Austin Jackson, their right tackle, their often injured right tackle's deal. This is where Chris Perkins and I disagree. He's still high on Austin Jackson. As far as I'm concerned, every time I turn around, he's not on the field. So, but they turned his contract, Mark, into a total win-win. They reduced his cap figure in half, and basically every year is a non-guaranteed year. They did the Josh Jacobs thing in Green Bay, which is interesting because now who's negotiating contracts in Miami? Oh, yeah, one of the guys who's in Green Bay.
What is fascinating to me, David, is you brought up Seattle and all the players they lost. Baltimore didn't have a ton of money. So the restructures and the letting go of free agents with where they were cap-wise made a little bit of sense. The guys that Seattle has lost and not tried on, like Kenneth Walker. Here's Seattle with nearly $40 million in cap space. I don't get it.
They had 3 guys in the secondary who were free agents. They lost 2 of them.
Right. And the running back.
And Kenneth Walker, and they lost him. I mean, if you had said to me, now, if you want to throw Shaheed in, okay, and said they had 5 big free agents, well, they lost 3 of them. And with the amount of money that they had, I would have thought they would have been able to keep 3 of them at least.
So that's peculiar to me. And, they're playing with house money. They won the last game. It doesn't matter. But still, to have the money that they have and lose that many players, you do scratch your head.
They gave Shaheed more money than what anybody would have given Kenneth Walker. I mean, they could have given Kenneth Walker the contract Kansas City gave him, and that's $4 million less than what Shaheed got from him per year. Wow. You chose Shaheed over Kenneth Walker?
By the way, we haven't even brought it up NFL-wise, and there's reasons why we haven't brought it up. It is the Jets. Geno Smith going back to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I'm sorry. There's just something about it. Look, I get it. He revamped his career, and they need a guy, and he's not the answer. He's a stopgap. But there's an irony to that to me.
Well, there's no doubt. And if you're a Jets fan and media person, it's like, oh, look at this full circle. Shows what a mess of a franchise we are. Because also when they drafted Geno Smith in the second round, they haven't made the playoffs since then. And their playoff drought is pre-Geno Smith the first time. So to a Jets fan and a Jets media person, it's just like, man, what a loser organization this is. And they're having to turn to Geno Smith. Well, you tell me. And he had a terrible year last year with the Raiders. How much of it? Listen, I heard horrible things about Chip Kelly last year as offensive coordinator of the Raiders. Horrible things. That he mailed it in, didn't want to be there, and that there's a reason that a lot of guys didn't look good. Okay? All right, take it with a grain of salt. Let's just say Geno's losing it. Okay. Geno's on the downside. He's not going to be what he was peak Seahawks. Tyrod Taylor, Justin Fields, or Geno Smith?
Geno Smith.
Right. So if you're the Jets, you're like, yeah, I get it. It's not ideal. But the other thing is, to me, I don't know. They grow up. Yeah, 10 years after getting rid of them, you're bringing them back in. I don't know what to tell you. It's 4 regimes ago, a whole lot of water, over the dam. I mean, come on. Let's grow up a little bit here.
No, I just look at there's some irony. And then for a Jets fan going, I wanted to get Cousins. Cousins didn't want to go play for you.
No.
Cousins to me is either retiring or going to Minnesota. That's really what I think, David.
And remember, Jets fans, he used you to get the deal in Minnesota that he got the first time. You offered more money. By the way, Jets offered Malik Willis more money than the Dolphins. Apparently, the Jets offered $30 million a year. Dolphins only offered $22.5. And with the way it's restructured, Malik really needs to see year 3. But Jets apparently offered him 30, Mark. And the quote, somebody close to Malik sent out a quote, which was basically, yeah, career's going to die there. I ain't going there. I don't care how much money they give me. I ain't doing that. Thanks, but no. But, I mean, that's $7.5 million a year. Now, I know at the tax rate, it's a little less. Maybe it's $5 or $6 million a year. But that's per year. When you've, never made, because wasn't he a second-round pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the first round, and so he never got the 5th-year guarantee because, second-round pick, he only got 4 years. And, I mean, $7.5 million a year and a starting job, guaranteed. And he went, no, man, no. The Jets? No.
Well, I think it's a guaranteed starting job in Miami too. I mean,
right.
That's apples to apples, if you know what I mean.
But the situation's the same. $7.5 million a year, not over 3 years. $7.5 million a year. That's a lot of coin.
It is. It is, and we're not talking, 9-figure contracts guaranteed here. It is different money. There's no doubt. The Diamond District bonus hour on the other side for you folks in Tampa and in Jacksonville. For those of you in our other markets, Twitch, YouTube, that's the way to go to catch the Diamond District bonus hour. Well, we may dive down on the Bucks and the Jags next hour a little more. We've talked a little bit about Hendrickson and some other things going on there, even on the hockey side in Tampa. It's Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Do you have a sleep problem but don't want to wear a CPAP mask? This is Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. The mask wasn't working for me, and I didn't think I had an alternative. I do. We all do. They have such simple alternatives with greater success than the mask. Visit sleeptreatmentdirect.com. That's sleeptreatmentdirect.com. And if you are like me and your CPAP machine isn't working for you, it's time for a change. Call 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. The fun is happening now at the Southwest Florida Ag Expo. Bring the whole family. Thrilling midway rides, delicious fair food, good old-fashioned Florida fun. Experience agriculture up close. Meet the farm animals. Celebrate a community's roots. Live entertainment, family activities all day long. All under one roof at the Mike Greenwell Regional Park, formerly the Lee County Civic Center. Get details and daily schedules at swflagexpo.com. That's swflagexpo.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't think it's Bowles, Panda. I don't. I do, however, think he believes he's got a better shot to go deeper in the playoffs with San Francisco than he does with Tampa. Interesting, Tim, even as the Jets quarterback. But you might be right. There's probably more. I don't think that there's, he left money on the table there. There's no doubt to me, but it just shows you the state of that franchise. A damn job gets in the way. I understand.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour, fourth hour of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A remarkable sports day and evening yesterday. The Ravens out of nowhere nixed the Max Crosby deal. Probably the biggest trade with the most high-profile player that's been squashed at the last minute in recent NFL memory. Certainly, what limited research I did, Mark, there were like 6 or 7 free agent signings or trades this century that had taken place, and they involved a couple of good players, but never a Max Crosby and never for 2 first-round picks. So this, by NFL standards, what was bigger? The trade when it got announced Friday night, or last night around dinner time when you found out, wait a minute, it's off?
I think it's close. I think last night. I mean, you sent me the text that the trade was nixed. I have a good friend who's a giant Raider fan. And he and I communicate a lot because he's also a Red Wing fan like me. And I had just sent him a long piece from Chicklets that Paul Bissonnette kind of went after Yzerman for not doing more. Talked about several players they could have got. Anyhow, you don't care. But I had just sent him in. We're going back and forth about that. And I sent him, I reposted, what you sent me in a text. And he gave the same answer that I gave. What? I mean, it was shocking. It was shocking. And it is part of our poll question today. What's the biggest surprise in the sports world yesterday? Bam, who scored 83, second most points in NBA history in one game behind this guy named Chamberlain, and a couple more than Kobe had. Great picture, by the way, that they took of Bam in the locker room with a piece of notebook paper with 83 written on it, the same way Wilt has the famous picture with 100 written on it. Or Italy beating Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. If you don't subscribe to X, you can text us your answer on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Pelican Roofing of Florida, 1-866-9-PELICAN, 1-866-9-PELICAN. 21,000's the text line. If you've never texted before, text the keyword Miller, and we're talking to you, Tampa and Jacksonville, about the text line.
Well, the Ravens pivoted quickly. It's official. Well, at least it got the Adam Schefter tweet of approval. Ravens and Trey Hendrickson, 4 for $112. That's 28 per. Curious how much is guaranteed. Let me tell you, if I'm the Raiders, I am spitting mad. Spitting mad. Okay?
And if I'm Tampa, if I'm a Tampa fan, if I'm a Bucks fan right now, I'm more upset than the Raiders are. Would love to hear from you, Bucks fan, because you need an edge rusher badly. You've only needed one for, 5 years?
I'd argue since Simeon Rice, but yeah, we could shorten it. They did rush the passer pretty well when they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl in 2020. So, all right, we'll cut it to 5, but I'd be willing to go back to Simeon.
By the way, quick sidebar on that, David, was getting my treatment yesterday as an outpatient here at Moffitt, because that's part of what I'm doing, why I'm in Tampa for a few months, and started talking to my nurse yesterday. And, she asked what I did and and I told her. She's like, that's cool. She goes, I listen to a lot of sports podcasts, but I listen to mostly Buffalo ones because I'm a Bills fan. And of course I said, I'm sorry. And we went back and forth and had some fun, but I did not really, she told me yesterday, she went to that Super Bowl, that COVID Super Bowl. They took care of the healthcare workers in the area, and she got to go to the game for free because it was the game that was only 25% capacity. And she got to see that game. I thought that was, I didn't know who had tickets to that. just for lack of a better term, that's pretty damn cool.
What did she think?
She loved it. She says Tampa's her second favorite team. She goes, I moved here when I was 11, but I'm from Buffalo, so you know how that stuff's put in your head.
Sure.
She goes, but I've been here a long time. She went to USF. She's a Bucks fan too. So she said it was amazing.
Plus, I think the Chiefs had just beaten the Bills the first time in the AFC title game to go to that Super Bowl. So I'm sure she was happy that Tampa Bay returned the favor. But 4 for $112. Here's the part where if I'm the Raiders, all right, after maybe having a drink a little earlier in the day than normal, I mean, think about it. Some people with the Raiders are just going to wake up to this. But here's the only good news now for the Raiders. We wondered, could somebody get Max Crosby on the cheap? It does help the Raiders, I believe, Mark, that now Hendrickson's off the board. Because now it's like, well, if you want an edge rusher, you know where to turn. By the way, pretty much the same money. He's 29 instead of 31.
But Tampa, I said it about Detroit because they need a pass rusher. If it's a discount and it was 2 1s before, what are you willing to offer to get him? Mine's a 1 and a 4 because I don't want to just offer the 1 and lose him to someone who offers a better 1 or another player.
Okay.
Do you think a 1 and a 4 gets it done, David?
Right now, I'm leaning no today. I'm leaning you'll have to go a 1 and a 2 today. Because to me, that would be the Raiders having somebody on the phone offering a 1 and a 4 and a 1 and a 3. But I do think, Mark, every day that goes by, that the Raiders lose leverage. I could be totally wrong in that way of thinking, but because, you could argue, well, he's a day closer to being healthy. Okay. But how many teams are going to, you're going to go through the rest of free agency in the draft and you're still going to have enough money left aside to trade for Max Crosby? I mean, I would think teams are moving mountains and they could fit him in now. But I don't know if they can fit him in by next week. And then come the draft, you got to have enough money to sign your picks. So here's the thing, Mark. Is a 1 right now? You're like, I'll go a 1 and a 4. By the way, you going a 1 and a 4 in this year's draft, or are you splitting them up?
If I got to do both in this year's draft to get it done, I've got no problem doing it. I really don't. Because I think if you're going to do a 1 this year, you might have to give a 3 next year, if you know what I mean.
Right. And so to me, I guess you need to ask yourself, if the Raiders are on the phone with you, and you could be anybody you want right now. You want to be the Lions? You want to be the Bucks? You want to be the Jags? Okay. Although the Jags don't have a first-round pick to give up this year, but they could give up a 2 and then something next year. Like, I don't think the Jags are in on Max Crosby.
I don't think they can be with what their draft capital is.
Right.
Because you'd have to give up maybe a 2 this year and a 1 next year. And I don't think they can give up back-to-back 1s.
I agree. Okay. That would be 3 1s for 2 players over 3 years. That's a lot. But be Tampa, be Detroit, be anybody else, Chicago, New England. And the Raiders are basically saying, okay, it's a 1 and a 2. And you're like, 1 and a 4. You going to lose them over it? I'm being serious now. Think about it. Think about it. He's under contract for 4 years.
David, I don't think you can lose him over it. If you're the Bucks or Detroit, I don't think I don't know what other team is that desperate for an edge rusher. And I know people say, well, Detroit's got Hutch. Yeah, they do. But 1, I need to get 17 games out of them first and foremost. 2, that defense is god awful. And 3, they need help. They need another edge rusher. Now, could either team pivot? I'm looking quickly, PF, Pro Football Sports Network, put out a post before the Hendrickson thing with the best free agents, according to them. There were 3 edge guys on there. 1 just signed in Baltimore. He was listed as the top free agent left. We all know that. There's 3 other edge rushers they have on their list. I'm not interested in 2 of them. Clowney being one. I have no interest in Jadeveon Clowney. Hassan Reddick. I have less interest in Reddick than I do Clowney after the way he played a year ago. The third's Bradley Chubb. Obviously, he's a free agent, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper than Max Crosby. Not as good of a player. But if you're Tampa, Detroit, someone that needs an edge, is that where you go? And I think particularly Detroit more than Tampa, because Tampa, I think, needs a guy. I think Tampa needs a Max Crosby. Detroit needs a Robin for Hutch.
Although you could argue Crosby would be Batman.
I know.
But yes.
Hutch's stats are ridiculous. His pressures and all those things are terrific.
Is he good enough, though? I mean, the lack of pass rush from Tampa. All right.
No,
I don't mean Max Crosby. Okay, I'm talking about the best of what's left there. If that's who Tampa signs because he's affordable and they can get him for, who knows, 8. I mean, is that good enough?
No.
Do you? Right. That's what I was getting at. If you're Jason
No.
Light,
I think it is. I think Detroit could do that and get away with it, David. It's not ideal, but I think if Detroit did that, you'd go, okay. But Tampa, no.
Now, if you then draft the best edge that's on the board midway through the first round, and you put him with Bradley Chubb and what else you have coming back, maybe. It's tough to expect a rookie, though, to get you 10 sacks. It's why it's a huge loss for the Falcons, the Pierce kid, that they traded back into the first round, gave up their first-round pick this year. I mean, he finished 3rd in Defensive Rookie of the Year. He got him 10.5 sacks. That's tough to do as a rookie. Never mind, it's been a while since Atlanta's had D linemen get 10+ sacks. And now this kid may never see the NFL again. It's a big loss.
And I think if Tampa, if they get the best edge at 15, David, are they getting the 3rd best edge at that point? The 4th best edge? I mean, I know it's a deep draft for edge guys, but if you're going to do the Chubb thing, then Jason Light's got to be aggressive and try to get himself up into the top 10 to get one of the best edge rushers, if that's the plan.
Okay. And I do think there are teams in the top 10 who would gladly move down into the mid-teens.
Kansas City.
I think the Giants. I think the Dolphins. I think there's teams that would gladly move down. But Trey Hendrickson signs with the Ravens.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
At the Diamond District, we have that one-of-a-kind ring that she's been dreaming of.
Whether you're beginning to think about proposing or already have something in mind, we're here to help.
Our sales team listens, educates, and guides you to the perfect engagement ring so you don't have to feel intimidated.
We guarantee that whatever you're looking for, you'll find it here.
So when it's time to pop the big question, come visit us, Jason and Todd, at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't think Bain's there at 15, though. I don't. Not yet.
Who's not going to be there?
Bain.
Oh, God, no. Hell, I don't know if he's there at 5.
I think he's there. I've seen him slip to the top 10, but oh, I do like this mock I'm looking at right now. This mock I'm looking at has Jeremiah Love going to Tennessee 4. Now, that would be I think that's a smart draft for them. You could do worse. Yeah, no kidding, Adam. No kidding.
Yeah, but Adam, if you're one of the Florida franchises, if you thought you were going to get him and not have to pay 28 a year, that's on you. I mean, what'd you think he was going to sign for?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. It's all coming up. You know, the Diamond District bonus hour has been a pretty newsy hour this week with the whole NFL free agency. They get started early in the morning, and we just had another one right at the top of the hour. It broke. Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens. So much for that Max Crosby hangover. 4 for $112. That's 28 a year. I haven't seen the particulars. If I had to guess, 3 of the 4 years guaranteed. Ian Rappaport on Good Morning Football moments ago said something that I found interesting, Mark. He said, well, until the Ravens nix the Max Crosby deal, do you know who the leader last night was in the clubhouse for Trey Hendrickson? The Colts. And that the Ravens just came over the top of not the Bucks, not the Jags, not the Lions, not the Bears, that the Ravens just came over the top of the Colts to get Trey Hendrickson, according to Ian Rappaport.
And Adam Schefter just posted less than a minute ago that Hendrickson's 4-year $120 includes a $60 million fully guaranteed is all and a $20 million signing bonus.
Well, that means basically 80 of it's guaranteed. You get the 20 up front and 60 of that. Now he says it's 120?
Up to 120.
Gotcha.
Up to 120.
All right.
He also gets an additional $500,000 for each threshold he meets, which are 8, 10, 12, and 14 sacks per season. That's where you get up to 120.
Gotcha.
Because that's another $2 million a year over 4. So,
okay. So there you have it. Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens. And does that mean that the Raiders still have hand with Max Crosby? Or are they going to have to settle for less than what they got from Baltimore? In a way, Mark, I think they're going to have to settle for less also because the Ravens had the 14th pick in this year's draft. I'm not sure anybody who does a deal with them, if they're giving them a first-round pick in this year's draft, is going to have a better pick than that one.
by the way, not as big of a deal, but Washington continues to add to their defense. I don't know if you had this earlier or not. If you did, David, I apologize. But Patriots edge Clavon Chason is signing with the Commanders, 1 year, $12 million.
All right. Hey, Commanders were miserable on defense and they were old. It was a very bad combination. Now, I believe Bobby Wagner's still out there. I know, older player. There are some older players that are still pretty productive, though. We've talked about them. Steelers still believe Cam Hayward's one of those players. They just gave him another year on his contract at 16 per. He's got 2 more years left, and he's 37. But Wagner, a leader on that team, but is he still good enough? Makes a lot of tackles, but how many of them were 4 to 6 yards downfield? So, interesting to see what happens to Bobby Wagner.
It is interesting as well. I was talking earlier because the Ravens lost Crosby. Now they haven't updated odds or anything on the division, but by replacing Crosby with Hendrickson, they were obviously the team picked to win the division. I wouldn't be surprised if the odds got a little bit longer now that they solidified that spot.
They have lost a lot of key players, though. Be interesting. Never mind the fact that supposedly Lamar wants a contract extension or wants it reworked. I got to admit, if I'm in the Ravens, I'm in no mood for that. I'm not. And I tell them, we've given you the money. You got to get us to the big game. And I know it's more than you, but I don't know what to tell you, man. Okay, you got to get us to the big game. I'll play the tag game with you going forward. I really will. I'd be incredulous. I'd be like, I know you're going to tell me this is business. No, man, it's more than that. We've put this franchise in your hands for almost a decade. And we've put really good personnel around you. Okay, we've held up our end of the deal. You get us to a Super Bowl. I'll look right at him and say, you get us to a Super Bowl, I'll pay you more than Dak. But until you do, not a dime.
By the way, the Bills just restructured Allen to create about $40 million in cap space or something along those lines. I mean, it's just what they have to do this time of year. But just things are getting done this morning. David, let me ask you this. I'm going to give you the top 8 teams odd-wise to win the AFC right now. Which one do you think is the best value? Which one would you not bet on? The Bills are 5-1. The Ravens are 5.5 to 1. The Chiefs 6 to 1. Chargers 7 to 1. Patriots, Broncos, Texans 9 to 1. Jags 10 to 1. Where do you think the best value is?
Broncos at 9 to 1.
I agree. Which one would you not bet on?
The Chiefs.
I'm right there with you. I am right there with you.
It's remarkable how many holes in a year's time Baltimore and Kansas City now have on their rosters. I mean, they are going to have to absolutely nail a draft. And listen, Kansas City did it before. They nailed back-to-back drafts in 22 and 23. It helped plug a lot of holes. Goodness knows Baltimore has nailed drafts before. But there are some teams that are going to need to nail drafts where guys are going to have to contribute big this year.
By the way, the Chiefs, because I've been heavy on under 10.5. They get the NFC West. They get the AFC East. No, it's 2 bad teams there. I get it. But they get the NFC West. That's 3 good teams. And their crossovers are Atlanta, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis. No picnic.
No. But it helps. That's the softest schedule they've seen. A third-place schedule in Kansas City. They're like, oh, my goodness. It's been 12 years since we've seen one of these.
Right, but Joe Burrow has been better against Cincinnati than Baltimore and Buffalo. Just saying.
I got you.
So I mean, I just think 10.5 and the fact that they have that is just inflated odds on a team with history, and that the betting public doesn't understand what the roster looks like to me. So. Third favorite to win the AFC, I think that's crazy talk. Absolute crazy talk.
So what's that soap opera? It was called As the World Turns?
Yes.
How about the 15, 16 hours in Raiders land, in Ravens land? Because didn't I text you between like 5 and 6 o'clock last night?
That sounds about right.
When the story broke that, you're not going to believe this, the Ravens are backing out of the Max Crosby trade. And minutes later, Diana Rossini said, yeah, they're quoting the physical. Well, 15, 16 hours later, Trey Hendrickson, 4 for $112, which could become 4 for $120. Huh. Oh, man, I'll bet the Raiders have got to be steaming. Thank goodness they still have $37.9 million in cap room. I mean, seriously, could you imagine if they had, let's just say there's somebody else they were hoping to sign, and later today they would have been down to like, who knows, 21 million or something like that. Could you imagine if they didn't have the money to take Crosby back? They have no choice. They have to take him back.
The fun is happening now at the Southwest Florida Ag Expo. Bring the whole family. Thrilling midway rides, delicious fair food, good old-fashioned Florida fun. Experience agriculture up close. Meet the farm animals. Celebrate a community's roots. Live entertainment, family activities all day long, all under one roof at the Mike Greenwell Regional Park, formerly the Lee County Civic Center. Get details and daily schedules at swflagexpo.com. That's swflagexpo.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Thank you, Javier. But yesterday was amazing. I mean, a week Tuesday turned into a spectacular one. By the way, did you see Pippen auctioned off a bunch of his memorabilia yesterday?
I did. They're in a spot where he might be there, Johnny Mac. They're definitely in a spot where he should be there. For what it's worth, the mock I'm looking at in front of me has him there, but has him going one spot later to this Tampa Bay team. It has them taking an interior lineman from Penn State. Ionone, I don't even know how you say it, David. You did Penn State games. Vega Ione? Does that sound right? A guard from Penn State? Does that ring a bell to you?
No.
Okay. Good talk. I do laugh at this mock, though. It's got Cardinal Tate going to the Dolphins.
God, that. His phonetic spelling is Ioane.
Ioane.
Ioane. Ioane.
Ioane. Ioane. Sorry, that's terrible. I apologize to everybody for that. That's horrible on 16 different levels. I wish I could take that back. To the guy who said, "Do you ever make mistakes?" I just did. That was a horrible mistake, and I take full credit for it. That was just dreadful. Almost done with season 2 of The Sopranos, David.
I've heard worse, Mark.
Thank you, Raj.
Raj is politely trying to say, I've heard worse today.
By the way, it does have Sonny Styles at this mock. I'm looking at going to your Giants.
I know. I will be sick to my stomach. Please no.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're out of here. Is the sports world going to slow down? It didn't yesterday. 3 remarkable happenings. What was most remarkable to you? The biggest wow? Bam Adebayo scoring 83. Bam!
83.
The Ravens,
you're not the only one poo-pooing it today, David. I will say you've been 83, and you've been commenting about the free throws and the late game stuff. There are others out there on X that are in your world that are mocking the 83 for the number of free throws and leaving him in the entire fourth quarter in a blowout game. I have no problem with that, by the way. You got a guy that's going to set a record,
right.
You're blowing someone out. You let him play. I don't give a damn. But
I
the fouling of the
yes.
Washington players late,
right.
so he gets another crack at the ball and not letting them take 24 seconds on a shot clock. That's bordering on Bush League.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that, but you're right. I have no guys on fire, once in a lifetime game. Okay, historic, has a chance to be the second most. I have no problem leaving him in. I have a problem orchestrating the ending. Okay, but no problem leaving him in. I wish I had watched the game. I'd love to know how in the world he shot 43 free throws. I mean, I get bent out of shape when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shooting 14 of them. So I'd love to 43 free throws. I would like to see it. Tell you what, don't have a lot of people though saying they weren't fouls.
Yeah, so, you do have all the fouls on someone posted every foul, and a person that listens to our show forwarded that post that has every foul that got him.
Which is stunning. Most free throws ever attempted, most free throws ever made. But I mean, a guy goes from career high of 41 to 83. Remarkable. So and Team USA lost to Italy in the World Baseball Classic, and they may not advance because of it. They need an Italy win today or Mexico to win and score 6 or more runs. If Mexico wins a low-scoring game against Italy, the U.S. is out. That's our poll question. Vote accordingly. What was the most remarkable thing that happened yesterday in a remarkable night?
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
All right, not a lot today, David. Pretty boring day in history, but we start in 1779 as Congress establishes the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Kind of a big deal in that Revolutionary War. Played an essential role in Saratoga and Yorktown, for what it's worth. 1892, the first public basketball game was played, and it was played, of course, in Springfield, Massachusetts. Today in 41, FDR signs the Lend-Lease Bill. Kind of tipped our hand. It allowed the U.S. to provide material to support Great Britain's war effort in return for future use of land for military bases in England. 1958, starting this season, American League batters are required to wear batting helmets. Today in 68, Otis Redding is the first person posthumously to receive a gold record for sitting on the dock of the bay. Jim Morrison leaves for Paris today in 71 to reorient himself emotionally and creatively. Really, it was to avoid jail time in Miami. He would never return to the United States. Gorbachev takes over as the Soviet leader in 85. Remember the good old days when Gorbachev was running that place? 86, the NFL adopts the instant replay rule. He became Sir Paul McCartney today in 97. I'd rather be knighted, this isn't a knock on our country, knighted or Presidential Medal of Freedom. I'd go with the sir. You have to call me sir, and I'd make you call me sir. You especially, David.
It is cool as hell. I know this comes across as un-American, but you know, when we were trying to get him at a Super Bowl and we were trying to get him on the show, and I was hounding him, walking behind him, going, Sir Nick, okay, well, and he turned, and
then
turned.
You met him. You had a drink. You had a beer with Sir Nick. You had a drink with Sir Nick and called him Sir Nick the whole night, and you said he loved it.
And he let me sit right next to him the whole rest of the night because I was the only guy there calling him Sir Nick. Hey, you get knighted, like you wouldn't make me call you Sir Mark the rest of the time that we knew one another.
During the show. We'd have to change the name of the show to Sir Mark and Moulton. It was 6 years ago today that the NBA suspended the season when Rudy Gobert tested positive for COVID. And obviously that was a huge deal, but you have to remember, what was it, a week before that he touched all the microphones?
Oh,
or a few days before that, 3 days before it in a presser?
Yep, just touched them all. He was screwing around, yeah.
People
2 days
freaked
later,
out.
2 days later, not so funny.
No. Talk about a joke not aging well. Shemp Howard, the least famous of the Stooges, Lawrence Welk, and Doc Ellis would have all celebrated birthdays today.
Lawrence Welk, born in North Dakota, I believe.
Oh, look at that.
In fact, I was heading out.
Was he a bison?
No.
Oh.
No. I forget the name of the town. He was born in rural North Dakota. I got to remember the name of the town. Anyway, I passed it with my dad. We were going to Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Rupert Murdoch is 95 and still feisty. Sam Donaldson is 92.
And still feisty.
Bobby McFerrin, Don't Worry, Be Happy. He's 76. So is Jerry Zucker, one of the Zucker brothers. Did Airplane and Naked Gun, to name a few. Jimmy Iovine is 73. He is the music producer that teamed up with Dr. Dre, started Interscope, and made just $1 gazillion on Beats by Dre. Johnny Knoxville from Jackass is 55. Bobby Abreu is 52. Becky Hammond, 49. Paul Bissonnette's 41. And Anthony Davis is 33. What did I miss, David?
Did you have Cops?
Oh, you know what? I saw that and I made a mistake. No, give it to me.
Cops made its debut today in 89 and had a 31-year run. Cops. Now It's just the news. Ba-dum-bum.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
You know, if you think about it, the good, the bad, and the ugly is kind of our version of cops every day.
Sure. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department.
Damn right it is. So it's not really a good, but it's funny, and it's not bad. But a conservation officer was summoned to an antique store in New York, where while shoppers were looking for a great buy, they noticed something on a shelf next to a chicken-shaped cookie jar. You remember when that chicken stuff was big? Everybody had a chicken this or that.
Yep.
It was an owl, and not a stuffed owl, not a ceramic owl, but a real owl that fell asleep inside the antique store. Conservation officer Darren Milleron responded and was able to get the owl to safety. For the bad, we go to New Zealand. I want to visit New Zealand. I'm just going to say that out loud.
All right.
Two teenagers.
You make it sound like it's going to Wisconsin. You're going to zip in, zip out.
No, it's not.
It takes a while.
It's just a place I would really like to visit. I've heard nothing but wonderful things. You know, it's not as touristy as Australia. People are very friendly. Obviously, they speak English there, so it's an easy country to travel in. And it's beautiful.
Oh,
Had a friend of mine who was a softball pitcher, spent a couple of winters over there throwing the pill. Wellington, New Zealand for the bad, where a couple of teenagers left their knapsack outside of a donation area at a charity shop. They were stupid enough to return to try to get the bag because the bag had 1.5 ounces of weed, $2,200 in cash, and an air gun, all of which are illegal in New Zealand. The air gun's not illegal, but if you're under 18, it is, and they were under 18. They had more cash in their car and were arrested because they were dumb enough to return and try to get their weed from the charity store. Finally, the ugly, we go to North Fort Myers, where Rebecca Stansel was, for whatever reason, hanging out at a bus stop with some school children earlier this week at around 8:30 in the morning. When the bus came to pick the kids up, she decided to punch the school bus and then dive into the school bus. She walked away and stood in front of cars shouting at them, as it shows on video. When deputies responded, they found Rebecca getting into a car in a driveway. They stopped the car, asked her to get out. She became confrontational. Deputies noticed that she had bloodshot eyes and was slurring her speech. Her breath also smelled like alcohol. Who punches a school bus? And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Obviously, Rebecca does. On today, March the 11th, here on Miller and Moulton. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, great pay, signing bonuses, overtime opportunities aplenty, and other jobs available. For more information, capecops.com. capecops.com.
All right. There's a few things going on here in the last 10 minutes. First off, it's being reported that the NFL is thinking about having a game the night before Thanksgiving. Oh, for goodness sakes. Enough. Please, enough. Here's what I'm wondering. What's the latest bye week? Would they take there's like 2 or 4 teams that have the latest bye. I think the bye is the weekend before Thanksgiving. I'm wondering if they would have to take one of those teams or both of them.
Yes.
And they would have to be the ones to then play. By the way, congratulations, you get a bye, but yeah, you only get a week and a half.
But then you get a week and a half on the backside.
Yeah, hopefully, if they don't schedule you on a Thursday night or whatever. But anyway, the NFL seriously thinking about Thanksgiving Eve. Enough, please. What else do I have? Oh, remember I was talking about earlier the whole Italy Mexico game, and it was on Tubi. Yeah, FS1 just called Tubi and said, I don't know what to tell you. We've got rights to this thing. We're flipping games. So Mexico, Italy is on FS1 tonight.
Still 7, or did they move the time as well?
I don't know. I think still 7.
Okay.
But FS1 is now airing it instead of Tubi. Monster college basketball day. So many bubble teams in action. Cincinnati, UCF. UCF, make sure you win that. Cincinnati needs to win that and one other. It's 3 o'clock ESPNU. Pitt, NC State. NC State better win. SMU, Louisville. SMU needs a win. Mississippi State, Auburn. Auburn has to win. Okay, Northwestern Indiana. Indiana's got to win. Cal, Florida State is interesting. Cal's on the bubble, and Florida State's a trendy long shot in the ACC tournament. All right, very interesting game. 3 conference tournament bids up for grabs tonight. Big Sky, Idaho, Montana, Patriot League, BU and Lehigh, and then the Southland, it's McNeese and Stephen F. Austin.
There you have it. FS1 now. Good job by them getting the game. It looks as if it's still 7 o'clock, but the site I looked at also still has it on Tubi, so I don't think they've updated it yet. But if it is 7 o'clock, U.S. needs an Italy win or a Mexico win with 6 or more runs scored, or they don't advance in the World Baseball Classic. Trey Hendrickson is now a Raven. Big news of the morning.
6 games in the association, for what it's worth. The ESPN double dip. Cleveland, Orlando early. Houston, Denver late. Bam and the Heat are off tonight. Good. He needs a day off.
I think he gets a couple.
I would hope
they play
so.
again until Friday.
There's only 2 games tonight in the NHL.
Good. That means the Red Wings won't lose.
No. Washington, Philly is on TNT at 7:30. Even though the other game has more playoff implications, Montreal and Ottawa. But
yeah, well, they're not putting that on in the States, and I don't blame them. Get Ovechkin on. Might be his last few games in this country.
I was going to say, he hasn't scored in a while either. Him and Austin Matthews both. So there you have it. What a show. What a Tuesday night. What a Wednesday morning. Man, oh man, have a great rest of your hump day. We'll see what the hell happens by 6 a.m. tomorrow. Miller and Moulton.
Do you have a sleep problem but don't want to wear a CPAP mask? This is Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. The mask wasn't working for me, and I didn't think I had an alternative. I do. We all